Welcome to Boxing Fans Talk TV. I'm your host, TDT. You can refer to me as Miss T. Hold on, let me check a couple of things. I know I'm on CP time. I apologize for me being on CP time. Y'all know how it be. Y'all know how it be. Um, Y'all saw my thumbnail with Jermell Charlo talking about. We're gonna get into that amongst some other things. I'm gonna try to do my best to explain what's new about Bud Crawford. I can't say it and put it down like my big bro B Mac did. But I'm gonna give a concerted effort. B Mac, if you listening, you can jump in and weigh in and break it down and rectify some things I might say or whatever. But before we get into all that, hold up, let me put my banners up. Let's go ahead and do what we normally do first, and that is to turn to. Hey, welcome back. Welcome back to Boxing Fans Talk TV. I'm your host, TDT. You can refer to me as Miss T. I was on some CP time a little bit. I don't know how I do that, but it's innate. It's innate in us. I don't like to say that, but it seemed to be true, right? Welcome to the building. Black love, black power, black greatness. Hey, sis, how you doing, bro? Welcome to the building, King. And he said, thumbs up and 100. Okay. Y'all know, y'all saw the thumbnail. Y'all know I always talk about water. Here at Boxing Fans Talk TV, we advocate for 100 ounces of water a day. And we do that because water is the great body's lube. It gets the body moving and charging up and everything. We know the first, most two important times during the day that you drink your water is always going to be first thing in the morning before the toes hit the ground. Thank you, 8 ounces before you get up and get them moving, because the engine started need that lube. The second time is at night before you go to sleep, not when you're in the bed looking at TV or doing something else. You know what I mean? Is when you going to bed for the final, resting of the night. You got a lot of reads going on, rebooting, recharging, replenishing, re everything. You burn the most calories at night, between 900 and 1,000 calories a night. Everybody's different. Everybody's genetics is different, but you burn a lot of calories at night. So you want to drink some water to keep things moving, re clean out like clean out the toxins that's in your body. That's why going to the bathroom first thing in the morning is big, because if last night, if the night before was doing its job, guess what's gonna happen in the morning? You're gonna clear all that shit out. And you need to daily clean out your body, clean out them toxins. They're easily to get into, into your system because of the location you are at or the things you're eating. And the companies out there that do our food and all that, they ain't in the business of really telling us what's in everything. So we getting a lot of toxins, a lot of bullshit put in the foods, and we eating it blindly and not understanding how bad it is for us. Oh, it's killing you. But at what rate? That's the question. What rate is it killing you at? It's slowly killing you. And so when something is slowly getting to you, you don't really put no emphasis on it. But trust me, just take it. I wish it was somebody my age now that was telling my young self, hey, take it from me. Because I think I would have listened. I don't know. What y'all think? Y'all think y'all would listen if somebody was older than you telling you something? I think I would have listened. And I'd have been like, yo, okay, let me change up some stuff. Cause I ain't no hard-headed person. I don't have to learn through pain. You just tell me a good story and I'm on board, especially if you can scare me. But I can tell you guys, when you get a certain age, especially when you get in your 40s, it's like your body do a 180 and it does it so quickly, it will scare you. I don't care how big and bad you are. You cannot fight Father Time and you cannot fight illnesses inside your body. You ain't that strong. And if you're not a doctor or nurse or nothing, because if you was a doctor or nurse, you would know, right? Sometimes you would think you'll know, but sometimes even they don't know. But you ain't that strong. I don't care who you are, who you got power over and all that. You ain't got no power over the inside of your body. If that motherfucker want to break down and stop working, trust me, you're going to bitch up real soon and everything. So why not just go ahead, make a few changes right now while you're young, while you can, while it really don't hurt you. And just, some things you're going to have vices. I still smoke sometimes. That's a vice. I don't need to do it. I shouldn't do it. It may come back and bite me, but it's a vice that I have that I ain't completely gave up, even though it has caused damage. It has burnt my vocal cords. I can't even sing like I used to. I mean, it is what it is. We all have our vices, so I'm not anal. Like I'm thinking, you could just do it. But trust me, drinking plenty of water, that's one way to go. And we all can do that. Water is free. If you got to get it out the tap, I don't drink tap water. I drink bottled water. And I drink natural spring water as much as I can. So, I mean, however you get it, tap water is better than no water. Get off this coffee, tea, soda, all this bullshit all day, every day. You need to be putting in the water. And after you drink your proper amount of water, if you want to go back and drink coffee, tea, and all that stuff, by all means. But I'm going to tell you, when you're doing it right, your body going to answer that question for itself. They're going to be like, nah, I can pass. I don't want that. But anywho, let's get into it. So, first off, I'm going to say it like that. I had the question of, what the hell Jermell Charlo talking about? What is he talking about? Okay. Because I got to do some reading, so I'm going to put this on the avatar, so y'all excuse me for a second. When I have to read, too, I'm always doing that because I can talk better. First off, what the hell Jermell Charlo talking about? He's saying that Benavidez should be at a cruiserweight. We talking Jermell, the 154 pounder. His brother is 160, the only one that's close to potentially having a fight with Benavidez. And he not saying anything. He knows, talking about Jermell Charlo, he knows that the boxing fans want to see Benavidez, Andrade, or Canelo. He knows that. Jermell, you're not even in the running to even be talking, about Benavidez. So I really don't know what's your point. That's what I would be asking at this point. What are you talking about? What is your intent for even saying some dumb shit like that? Like, he should be fighting that cruiserweight. I always say that these fighters should pick their weight correctly. D Young is in the building. Salute, Queen. I hope your weekend was smooth. It was smooth. D, how about yours? How about yours? I be running around here a lot trying to get some stuff done, and then I wind up being on CP time. Excuse me for a second, y'all. Yeah, somewhere. Okay, my bad, y'all. So yeah, so he's speaking on Benavidez. Is he doing it for his brother intent? What's the intent? These are questions I jump right to questions like that. What's your intent for even saying that? You have no feasible way that you're gonna be fighting or facing Benavidez no time soon, and you speaking on what this man should fight at cruiserweight. Now, as I said, I always say these fighters need to pick their right weight. Benavidez is a big guy, and he's young though. Hint: he's young. He'll be able to drop down to the weight that he wants to drop down to for a while until his body said, nope, nope. You're going to have to take your big ass up there where you belong. So while he can do it, I guess, it benefits him to go down to these lower weights and fuck these people up. Hey, it's the way they do the business. I even for a while used to think that they should do their weigh-ins on the day of the fight, but I could see why they picked the day before, and it had more to do with safety, giving the fighters a chance to rehydrate properly, at least get something in their system. Because I mean, if you go on there weight drain and then just you didn't drain, if you weight drain, then chances are you didn't drain your electrolytes, and that's dangerous, y'all. You can send somebody into a damn stroke or a heart attack or God knows what else. So giving the fighters a day rest to rehydrate and stuff like that, that's a good thing. But why Jermell was talking on it, I couldn't tell you. I don't know. I'm interested in hear what you guys think about that. Because he not gonna fight him. He can't fight him. So what's his intent? Why worry about it? Let Maul worry about that shit. You know, boxers, all of them have enough on their plate to worry about than to be dipping into shit that they ain't got nothing to do with. And Maul versus Benavidez is a fight the fans want to see. So you don't need to speak up for your brother. Both of y'all are grown and everything. But it ain't like I'm terribly upset, but I just don't like that. I think that fighters need to stick to their weight class when they talk about potential fighters fights that they will have to face, or stay in that weight class. Because when you start talking about things outside your realm, you kind of making yourself look crazy and this, that, and the other. Secondly, what the hell is he talking about? Talking about Jermell when he talk about Bud got to prove something. I know y'all got a comment on this. Oh, first of all, don't forget to hit the like, share, and subscribe button. The subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Hit the like and share. Lean on that leasy when you come into the heezy. Hit the like button when you step into the square circle. And on the replay, leave some comments. Let me know how you feel. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind. I'm open-minded and everything. But, make sure y'all hit that like button. Anyway, so what the fuck Bud got to prove to Jermell Charlo? Can somebody let me know that shit? Because I'm sitting here scratching my head like, what the hell he got to prove? Do he how to be on the pound per pound list for 5 years plus? Is that one of them that he got to prove? Let me check this one out. How to be a 3-division world champion? Do he got to prove that one? Or how about this one? How to be undisputed? Do he got to prove that? What do he got to prove, Jermell? You sounding like you scared of him. You sounding like you don't want to fight him. I'm just saying, you are sounding like that because you talking about everything but the price of tea in China. You bringing up stuff like this man has to prove what to you? It should have been, this is just me, and other people can see things how they want to see it. I'm a person who like to see things as a glass half full. To me, Bud saying he's probably going to have to come up and face you. I'm gonna tell you why I think that was a compliment to you. Why? Because Bud feels, obviously, if you take him at that word, that you're going to be the victor between you and Castano. Isn't that complimentary, Jermell Charlo? That, Bud also is the type of, he don't want to waste his time fighting this person and that person. He want to go straight to the gusto. And he's mentioning your name a lot of times. Like I'll fight the winner of you or Castano. He's not disregarding Castano, but he, the way he talk, he really feel like it can be you. So I would take that, Jermell Charlo, as a compliment. You complained about not being on the pound for pound list. Bud been on it for 5 years plus. Okay. You have never won a belt outside of your division. You only been in one division. And now you got 3 belts in that division. Kudos to you. Okay. So it's understood that you and Castano are the man in the 154 division. You have all 3 belts. He has 1. Don't nobody need to break that down, or it's not like somebody don't understand it. You think Bud don't understand that you two guys are the man at 154? He fully understands that. Everybody understands that. So that's not something that we need to understand. Nobody's ever taking that or diminishing you because of that. But you claim you want to be undisputed. Bud has been undisputed. He knows what that feels like. He knows what that tastes like. You know what I'm saying? You the only motherfucker in this equation that don't know what that feels like. So when you say stuff like he needs to prove himself, I'll be sitting up here flabbergasted like, what? Prove what? These are all things that you have never, ever accomplished, Jermell Charlo. See, we got to put things in perspective and stop letting people say this crazy shit, because that, to me, is crazy talk. You got to prove something. You got to think. See, I hear that and I say, what is your intent for saying that? What is your point? To me, that's just another way of trying to devalue or diminish the things that he have accomplished. Jermell, if you have accomplished everything that Bud has, if we could take Bud's accomplishment and put it on your record, you think you'll let anybody talk to you crazy? You think you would let anybody tell you got to prove what? You think you would say these things or let somebody say these things about you? Or you'll be off. You went off about the reason why you won't put on a pound for pound. They do admonish people for bad behavior, Jermell. I know you thought that was in secondary school, that you can get in trouble and lose your place in line and or whatever because of your behavior. But as an adult, that happens as adults too. People can admonish you and be like, you ain't good enough behavior wise to be on the path. I'm not saying that's the reason. I'm just saying that could be a reason. You know what I'm saying? That could be the situation. But you got to check yourself before you say some shit like that. That he needs to prove something. Prove what to, and to who? He ain't got to prove shit to you, Earl, or nothing, because what he has done, y'all have never done. Do you hear me? Earl today got 2 belts. 2 belts. Terrence Crawford has had that before, and 3. So, again, after this fight with Ugas and Earl gets this 3rd belt, assuming that he's going to win, then he would know how it feels to have more than 2 belts. But he won't know how it feels to be undisputed till he faces Crawford. You won't know, Jermell Charlo, how it feels to be undisputed until you face Castano. But y'all two sound like the type of niggas that if y'all ever were, like for you, Jermell, if you were to become be Castano, you would think you got more accomplishments than Bud. And I'm here to tell you, before you open your mouth and say it, you do not. You still only been in one division. That's why Canelo doing what he doing. Canelo doing that path where he's scooping up shit. It ain't just for the money. that Canelo doing what he doing. He trying to scoop up shit. I don't like Canelo. Y'all know I don't, so I ain't repping him when I say this shit. Canelo, but he's going around motherfucking picking up belts, you know, trying to be undisputed, as we call it, dare to be great. He doing all this shit, right? So even when y'all talk about, and he know people will, like a nigga like me will, the fact that he motherfucking cheating and get away with it and shit, he always gonna be suspect to me. But he got an answer for that, bitch. I got undisputed twice. I got 4 division championship, whatever. That what he gonna say? Documentation beat conversation. That's what he gonna say. I'm still gonna talk my shit, but then they got an argument, I got an argument. People can look at it like, well, I don't know. But as far as my argument, you suspect because we don't know what you own. Of course you got these belts and you done beat these folks and all that, because look at what you are allowed to do. But in the end of the day, documentation beats conversation. Okay, something going on with my Facebook, y'all. Hold on. Let me remove it. Then let me put it back on. Hello? Then let me put it back on. All right, hold up. Nephew is calling me. Hey, nephew, I'm in the middle of the show.
Oh, okay. Call me later.
Okay. All right. Love you. All right. Bye-bye. Hold on. Let me get back. Yeah, Facebook be tripping. Facebook be tripping with me. I don't even know why I bother, but just for my friends who are not really into YouTube and everything. Shout outs to y'all. Hey, my phone lines. Oh, let me check to make sure they open. I put the link in the chat too if anybody want to get in on this convo. But yeah, I can't stand that shit with the you gotta prove something to me. This nigga did more than you. What the fuck you mean? You gotta prove something to me. That's like some crazy ass type arguments that I've ever heard, like people try to make. And Jermell Charlo, you ought to be ashamed of yourself for even saying some shit like that. You know how silly you look? You gotta prove something to me. And then you talk about a fighter you will never face, but you talking about how he need to move up to cruiserweight. Why you're caking for your brother? Y'all tell me in the chat, what is Jermell Charlo doing? Hook us sister up. Let me know. Because I don't even know what he's trying to do. You got to prove something to somebody who's never had the accomplishment of the person you telling that they need to prove something to. You don't even know what it feels like to have those accomplishments that this guy got, that Bud has. But somehow you, a boxer, one of many in the field of boxing, has to be proven something. Whereas the powers that be don't have to, they don't ask Bud to prove himself. He already, how else do you prove yourself by other than becoming a 3-division championship? Showing that you're versatile. Showing why you should be pound for pound, because you go up from this division to that division to the next division, and voila, you're a champion every time. So how in the fuck do he needs to prove something to you? Hey, Queen Yogi, she said, hello, Miss T, stopping by to say, hey, girl, hey. What's up, Yogi? I'm here cooking, girl. I don't know. Yogi, do you understand that if somebody who has more accomplishments than you, and you turn around and tell that person they need to prove themselves, do that even make sense? Do that even make sense? And see, I'm talking about boxing, but I just put it in just general terms. Do that even make sense to you? That somebody will have to prove themselves to you, a person who has never had the accomplishments of the other person that you telling to prove their self to. I mean, that is some crazy shit right there to me. Yogi even understand that Yogi ain't no boxing head. That's just crazy. And this dude out here saying that shit. And I was like, what? But that struck my mind today. I had to speak on it. I don't know if the Charlos even watch this or somebody who like the Charlos or whatever, but this is when I be talking about that they do some crazy shit or they say stuff crazy. That is really crazy. And if ain't nobody gonna get on him about that, that's, to me, even crazier. That's crazy talk. Like, y'all, I told y'all, I'm here to crush stupid ass narratives and debunk bullshit. That's my job. I've taken on that job freely and willing. I don't have to talk about nobody and nothing, because I try to do preventative stuff before it gets out there in the atmosphere and just take flight. This was just a new article that was written, and I'm going to debunk it before it gets started. Y'all need to question that shit. I'm talking about other YouTube creators, content creators, if you want to. But I feel like you should want to crush that shit. That's like going on an interview and the person interviewing you telling you you need certain credentials they don't have, even have, laughing. Yeah. It don't make sense, y'all. And if y'all you have to stop that shit. This is, again, why we get into little problems with narratives and spin and propaganda and stuff like that, because we don't stop certain things at their tracks. You can't have boxers out here telling other boxers they need to prove themselves, and that boxer ain't never did half the shit the boxer they telling need to prove. How does that happen if we are so pro-black and we so uplifting our brothers and all that? How do y'all let this dude say that about Terrence Crawford, arguably one of our best boxers in the world, have been on pound for pound for many years, for 5 years plus, either one or number two, more times as number one? And the world sees him like that, but we can't give him no props. If somebody would have said that about Earl Spence, a lot of motherfuckers would have been going off. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm doing it. I wouldn't let nobody say that about Earl Spence. I wouldn't, if somebody, that's like Lubin saying, if Earl came up and he was like, I'm going to fight you next, Lubin. And Lubin said, you got to prove yourself. Prove what? He couldn't say it to Earl. Lubin, who is you to say that? You haven't even done what he done. And I'm emphasizing something, but Lubin has never said that about Earl. But I'm saying, I want to show y'all that even I would say that about Earl. Y'all this is what I mean by the total disrespect, because it's kind of disrespectful. Y'all let shit like that slide. Why? I just need to know why. Why is it okay for Jermell Charlo to say some asinine shit like that? It is asinine. Because if you think about everything Jermell Charlo says, it's always in that same vein of Terrence ain't nothing. He ain't did nothing. He ain't got no resume. You heard him say that lately. What the fuck is going on? And nobody seems to want to say nothing. Yet, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Everybody has a right, freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom of assembly, freedom of thoughts. So I always have to keep telling myself that, to not to put the cart before the horse, and even from my perspective. But somebody got to check Jermell Charlo on that one. Dude, you have not done what Terrence Crawford has done. Prove what? Prove what? Who is you at this point? You are a great fighter, Jermell Charlo. One of the best. Got heart like a mug. I will roll with you on any fight. I ain't paying for your shit because of your behavior, but When it come to that ring shit, you are the truth. I give you that. And let me take back. I don't give you that. You earned that. You took that. I'm agreeing with you. You the man up at 154. But you talk like you scared of Bud Crawford now. You be talking like you scared of him. I don't think he said anything disrespectful towards your direction at all. Not once. Bud is a top tier fighter. And top tier fighters want to fight other top tier fighters. We always say we want to see the best fighting the best. Well, you are the best at 154, Jermell Charlo. You should be, in my opinion, gratified that somebody wants to come up and meet and mix it up with you because you're the best. He picked the best, which is you at 154. But this, all you got to prove something, you out of pocket on that one. That's funny to me. That's funny to me. That's like somebody telling me, and I don't think I'm Barbara Badass at all. I think I do have a little bit more of leverage or leeway than other people that I grew up with or my peers or something like that. I ain't worked since I was 40. I ain't had no job and ain't skipping no beat neither. I'm still living the same way. How I do that? Oh, I can tell you how I did that. But that's like somebody telling me that who ain't did what I did, that I need to prove that I know how to set your life up where you sitting pretty. That's like somebody else, and I ain't trying to be funny, but somebody else living in the shack or living in the projects or something, and nothing wrong with the projects. I'm just using it as an example. If that's what you got there, that's what you got there. But you can't tell me nothing about how to set yourself up to live, pretty. You can ask me, but you can't come around and say, because that's low key condescending or low key insult. You got to prove yourself. I got to prove myself to somebody who's living there. I prove myself to a person who's living in an apartment how to live like I'm living already. Something to that nature. Why would you say that to me? I would never say that to you. And I don't think that it's not like I think that I can't learn something from somebody who lives less than me. Those people in the projects could teach me a lot. I wouldn't dare say to them that they got to prove themselves to me. I wouldn't dare say it. Even if I'm ahead of the game than they are. But you know why? Because it's low-key condescending and it's low-key insults. Sorry for my dog barking. I don't know what's wrong with him. Boy, be quiet. Get your life, Daddy. We call my dog Daddy. Because he acts like a dad. But yeah, I mean, I just had a problem with that. And I'm squashing that narrative before it take flight. Before somebody else want to repeat it or whatever. It ain't like just because I say I'm squashing it don't mean that they gonna do it. They not gonna do it. I'm marking time right here. That's a low-key condescending remark. That's a low-key insult. And I don't see how anybody can take it any other way but that. Gotta prove yourself. No, you don't. You gotta prove yourself, Jermell. Can you become undisputed? You still have to prove that. Can you be a multiple division champ? These are things that Terrence has already proved. You are the one who hasn't proved that. So on these two remarks that you recently made, one about Benavidez need to take himself up to cruiserweight, you're not even a full middleweight or a super middleweight. Why is David Benavidez your concern? What's the intent? See, that's when that question can come up. What's your intent for even saying that? Your brother may have to face him. we want to see the fight between your brother and him. So what's your intent? Are you trying to protect your brother, or what do you have faith in your brother that he's going to be able to fight? I don't know. I'm speculating here. These are things that I'm just pulling out my head. Like, I didn't understand that comment either. But David Benavidez and you will never be meeting up no time soon. Talking about Jermell Charlo. So to say something like that, I'm wondering whether, again, you're worrying about the wrong things, Charlo. Just like you was all up on in Deontay's comments and stuff, worrying about him. You ain't never gonna fight Deontay Wilder. Why was you worried about him? But I don't know if people gonna charge you up for this. But I have to charge you up for this, especially when you talk about Bud, because that's just obvious. Put down to me. So I don't know. Get it together, Jermell. You guys don't forget to hit the like and share button. I want to mosey on over to. I'm going to attempt to try to explain this, but I'm gonna tell you guys, if you haven't already, go subscribe to the Black Mob. I said the Black Mob. What am I thinking? The Mac Mob. And E Thriller, the Black Picasso. I was thinking the Black Picasso and said the Black Mob. Go subscribe to these brothers because they be dropping jewels and they have receipts. That's one thing too that we all should be trying to do is have real receipts instead of saying the sources say, or just always in our speculation mode. If you're speculating, say you speculating. That's one thing I try to do. I'll read an article, I'll get information, and I'll say, well, I'm speculating here. That means I'm taking an educated guess of what I know, how things have played out. I'm looking at historical data, things that happened in the past, not too far in the past, to see how things normally played out, so I'm speculating. But when I have receipts, I will have receipts. I'm going to attempt to talk about this thing, even though I was like, I hope I do it a good service. I keep hearing and seeing that Bud Crawford is to sign with PBC. Okay. Now, you guys know that I am in protest of the PBC because of the Tim Smith interview. I will always say that to reiterate that so there's no ambiguity about it. Like, you know what I'm talking about. You know how I feel. You know my stance. Okay. So, Tim Smith, let it be known, and he is a person of power and works up there with Al Heyman. He let it be known that they had no intentions in the past, present, or future of giving Bud a deal because they don't want to pay their fighters. Renee Sartor said, "Hey, beautiful queen, how you doing, sir? How you doing? How you had a good day, good weekend? I certainly hope so. And I want to send a shout out to Maceo Golden. I know his son ran into some issue with an attack from a pit bull, and he had to have surgery and all. I hope everything worked out. My prayers are sent for the Golden family and everything. If you listening, player, shout out to you. I was thinking about you all day today, yesterday, and I hope everything worked out. So I'm going to attempt to try to put things in perspective. Now, I'm not sitting up here debunking straight up that PBC hasn't signed the fight with Bud. That's not what I'm doing because I don't know. I hear this narrative and I respect the guys who are saying it. I watch y'all shows, people. I watch everybody's show. And in fact, I always tell you guys to show our black love by supporting people, even if you agree with them or don't agree with them, like them or don't like them. Just show your black love. You see their names in the chats, just go over to their channel, whether they got a channel or not, and subscribe. Some people got channels, don't even know they got channels. I talk to a lot of people who say that. For those of you on Facebook, make sure y'all come over here and hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Everybody who's looking on the periphery out right now, hit the like and share button and everything, because I do be dropping nuggets. Sorry, a second. So, I'm going to attempt to put things in perspective because I hear this narrative that Bud is signing with the PBC, which for me, I personally wouldn't like it. I wouldn't like it because they already shown their disdain for him. They have no value in him, or they don't feel he has any value. And when a person feel that way about you, it's their right to feel that way about you. But once they show you they don't have no value in you, what more can you do? At that point, you're bagging. And you don't need to bag. You're a millionaire, bud. They need you just as much as you need them. I also have a problem with PBC how they pay their fighters. They don't pay Earl Spence the way they should. I have a problem with that. If he's been your big guy, your cash cow, this, that, and the other, why you don't pay him $10 million or more? Why is that so difficult? I genuinely have a problem with that. It's not enough for me to have a problem with that. Earl has to have a problem with that. But I don't get it. I totally don't get that shit. Right? So Elisa Felton is in the building. What's hot? What's poppin', King? A queen. I'm sorry. Hello. Hello, Miss T, she says. Hi, Elisa. Welcome to the building, Queen. I'm glad you can make it. I'm gonna attempt, Elisa, to just show a little bit of what we learned on BMAC, but I will tell you guys to go watch the Mac Mob. I think it was Thursday show. It could have been Wednesday or Thursday show, but he broke down what Bud has actually did and he showed receipts. Okay, everybody says that Bud is signed with the PBC, but it's almost like they speculating. And again, they could be speculating for good reasons. You know, maybe it's something they saw that makes them think that, but I haven't seen or heard from what I would call a credible source like Bud himself or Bo Mac or, you know, something in writing, you know, that they put out on a credible page like PBC page or something saying that they got this deal with Bud. Now, we know that in regards to Earl Spence, he said he's got man down promotions, he's his own boss. Y'all know I've since debunked all this I'm my own boss shit. Cause if you're not putting up the money for your shit, you're not your own boss. Now, Fred Hawthorne from the Barbershop Conversation has been complaining and been saying for years how you need to become independent and do your own thing. And everybody laughs him off. You know, Fred say a lot of things, and in full disclosure, I don't agree with everything Fred said, but I'm on the same page with him on a lot of things he do say. And that's independent. Only thing I would say to Fred is people sometimes got to have the temperament and the know-how and the confidence to do what he's asking them to do. Fred see it as very simple to do, but he has to take into consideration everybody can't be like him. You know, God gave him those abilities and the eyes and the confidence and the know-how to do those things. That don't mean that everybody has that. There are people who are better followers than they ever will be leaders. And there's nothing wrong, for the record, with being a follower. That's an honorable way to be, because in order for shit to happen right, you have to have good followers. You just have to. So I don't see that as a negative, somebody being a follower instead of a leader. But Fred has always told them, take the little money that they make instead of buying the Bugattis and the fat chains and all that shit, and go put on your own event and make money that way. And you might not make the big time Floyd money, Mayweather money, but you have to be patient and start the process. Eventually, if you keep doing something, you're diligent about doing something, eventually shit will turn over for you, right? But out of everybody, TGH Big Dog is in the building with Poppy King. He says, salute Queen T. But Fred, out of everybody that you think is not listening to you, seem like somebody listening. Somebody be listening. Because while we be shitting, we not meaning me, but be shitting on Bud. He that man. He that businessman that people don't think that he is. And I ain't shitting on nobody else when I say that. But I'm just saying. So I'm gonna pull this thing up. Let me go over here so I can read it. And excuse me if my tongue get tired a little bit. And I'm gonna read this. So I'm gonna talk about 3 entities. I'm gonna talk about Intro Box, Valley Sports, and Fox Sports. And this is not up for debate. This is what it is. PGA said, why does Fred completely trash black people every show? Now, what the fuck? PGH, I think Fred get in his feelings sometimes, and I told him that the other night. I think he get frustrated because he feels like he put himself out there and actually tell you guys the behind the scenes, and he feels like people are not listening, and he gets frustrated. But sometimes you got to take the attitude of you can lead a person to water, but you can't drink. You can't make them drink it. Or it's the saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it. You know, he gets frustrated, and maybe he shouldn't get frustrated. But, you know, he does. He gets frustrated because he feels like you guys are not listening. And see, Fred, I be saying that when we talk about the politics. You know, you get frustrated if people don't listen to you, but it'll come off like if you don't listen to you, you get upset. I wouldn't get upset. You don't have to listen to me. I can tell you guys I'm a proud Democrat. You don't have to do what I do. That's just how I feel. I feel that way because of what I see and the information I got. And if you guys see it another way, I respect you. You can see it another way. I will still break bread with people who don't see things my way. I don't get frustrated. But if you ever ask me, how do I get to do this? Or how did I learn how to do that? I can only tell you what I learned and what I did. If you don't listen, that's on you. So I think that's what it is. It do come off sometimes. I can see why people say it probably looked like that's what he's doing, but he feel like he put his self on the line and all that, and people don't follow him. But that's what I say about those people who gave their life so I can vote, so I can get equal opportunities and equal education. Those people who did that before I was even born in the 60s, who laid their life on the line, 20-year-olds, white and black people, so I could just vote freely without somebody trying to kill me for voting. And then we're going to have a group of people that these people laid their life on the line for, and then grow. And then 20, 30 years later, you got groups of black people say, hold your vote, don't vote. That don't sound right to me. And that's what Fred not seeing, that he's doing the same thing. He's getting mad if they not listening to him, and he know he's giving them knowledge, and he's laying himself out there by even giving them the knowledge, and they taking his work and his information that he's passing on in vain. But we taking those people who lay their lives down on the line for us to vote in vain too, and Fred don't see that. So I've been trying to get Fred to see that, listen, you can tell everybody everything, but don't get upset because they don't listen or whatever. Just if you decide that that's what you want to be as a person who gives out information, continue to do that. Somebody's listening. If you get one person, be satisfied with that one person. You know what I'm saying? So that's the best way I can explain the PGH, big dog. Sometimes people do things, that they claim that they hate when other people do it. Like taking Fred's work and information he given in vain is something that he ain't gonna like. But I feel the same way when people take those people who came before us life in vain, who laid their life on the line for us to vote, and then somebody comes along like Fred or anybody else to say, I'm holding my vote. You're doing the same thing. You're doing the same thing. What would they feel if they hear that? If someone who ran into trouble and probably got hurt, but they still with us, and they be like, look at what y'all doing today. Like, y'all took my life in vain. Why the fuck did I even put my life on the line so you can vote and stuff? If you gonna sit up here and then be like, I ain't voting, I'm gonna put Mickey Mouse down. Are you serious? Why the hell did I do all that for? Y'all don't listen anyway. They can argue the same point that Fred is arguing. And that's why I say, even you can believe what you want. You'll never hear me tell anybody where they gotta vote. I'm just saying, I would tell people when it comes to politics that, hey, vote how you want. Make sure you getting what you want. Make sure you understand the biggest picture. Because one group is telling you they don't want you to have medical insurance. And right now in this country, people are a bill away from being homeless. That's a fact. So what you gonna tell them? Fred told me I could come over here, or whoever be telling you not to vote or whatever told me I could come over here. They're gonna help me out with my bill. You ain't gonna be able to say that. You better think about who you trying to put in power to do things on your behalf. Regardless how you feel about them, you do got to take the lesser of the two evils or whatever. And that's just the way it is. And, people who feel like I don't want to do that, but you do it all the time. You do it when you pick a mate. For y'all men, when y'all pick y'all woman that y'all gonna settle down with, you're picking the lesser of the evils. When you go for your job, you're picking the lesser of the evils. Why stop the logic at voting? So I mean, I just told you that PGH as an example, not to get into the whole big politics question, but that's what Fred is feeling, that y'all taking his hard work in vain, But Fred, you kind of doing the same thing when it comes to voting. So, I love Fred. I love a lot of stuff that he putting out, and he's been telling them to take their little money, and if you're really gonna bet on yourself, put on your own event. You can't start off big, but eventually, over time, 5 years down the line, look where you will probably be if you do that. If you think about Ron Johnson, the guy who owns Introbox, look at his life story and look how he started out and look where he at right now. Due diligence and continuously working on something, you won't stay in the same point spot for the rest. If you started off at the bottom, you constantly working something, 5 years from now, you won't be at the bottom. You will constantly elevate. It may be a slow process. It could be a fast process. What God has for you, he has for you. As long as you put in the work, you're gonna see fruits of your labor. You know what I'm saying? So, but a lot of these fighters, they don't take him up on his suggestion because they probably don't have the temperament to do that. That's how I look at it. It's not that they don't think his idea is a good idea. They just don't have that kind of temperament. They never were bosses. That's why I say, even putting out that I'm my own boss, and all these fighters saying that's bullshit. You need to stop it. You make your life harder for yourself. You never was a boss. Earl Spence, you're not a boss. Even Devin Haney, you're not a boss. You're spending other people's money, so you're not a boss. Stop saying that. Because now look at Devin Haney. He's in the deal. Fred talked about it. It's a terrible deal, right? It's a terrible deal for boxing, but his career is terrible. But, that just shows and proves you never were a boss. Ain't nothing wrong with never being a boss. Yes, you work with somebody and you had a good deal because you was making money and everything. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with making money, but this boss shit, that was never you. And if you listen to Eddie Hearn when he talk about these fighters, he always drops the nugget and letting people know. He says it in a nice way that be glossed over a lot. Yeah, I pay you. What's a dude say that? Or girl, you're not your own boss. He makes sure he says that every time. I don't think people hear him. He said it about Devin. He said it about Andre. He said it about everybody. Yeah, I pay you. He said it about T.O. I paid you. That's just telling you work for me, player. So let me get on with this. Why did Fox Sports change to Bally Sports? So the heading tells it all. Fox Sports will become Bally Sports. If you know anything about Fox Sports, they are just as up there and just as good as ESPN. We know that ESPN is one of the biggest sports channel ever out there. You know what I'm saying? Fox Sports is either right up there with them or a close second. PBC needs Fox Sports and Showtime. Fox Sports and Showtime don't need the PBC. So let's put that in perspective, right? Let's get into the article. Rebranding is not easy, let alone for a brand that has been going strong for a quarter of a century. Fox Sports has a loyal viewer base and will continue to add more users over time thanks to the content it covers, i.e. sports. Indeed, when one considers all these aspects, one will wonder why it was necessary to change a good thing in the first place. If you assume that there was a compulsion that drove this decision, then you are definitely right. The regional sports channel that has been going strong for 25 years was the casualty of a business decision that has resulted in the creation of what we now recognize as Bally Sports. Here's everything you need to know about why Fox Sports changed to Bally Sports. That don't need to be explained. Fox Sports will become Bally Sports. That's what it is now. It's no longer Fox Sports. It's going to be Bally Sports. What happened to Fox Sports? Starting from March 31st, all Fox Sports properties that include the 19 regional networks, social media handles, and mobile apps, among other things, were rebranded as Bally Sports. Since the scale of this particular change is extremely massive, the process is still ongoing with certain properties like Bally Sports app in their final stages of development. While the rebranding has begun to reflect since March 31st, the process itself has been in the works for the past 2 years. A bidding war. Before we delve into the why part of Fox Sports changing to Bally Sports, it's important to know the ownership aspect of it all. Back in 2017, the Walt Disney Company started negotiations with Rupert Murdoch to acquire the films, cable, entertainment, and direct broadcast satellite divisions of 20th Century Fox. Initially, Disney plan was to acquire all assets of 20th Century Fox to broaden the scope of Disney's streaming library in a bid to compete with other streaming services. The initial offer made by Disney for this acquisition was $52.4 billion. However, Comcast was also very keen to acquire 21st Century Fox and made all cash bid of $60 billion. Once all the politics settled and the bidding war came to an end, Disney came on top with $71.3 billion deal that gave them exclusive rights to all 20th Century Fox content. The DOJ's decision. As a part of the acquisition, Disney required antitrust approval from the Department of Justice for the acquisition to gain valid status. The problem was that if Disney also owned Fox regional sports channels, then it will basically have a monopoly, which is not allowed in America. Just throwing that in. Thanks to its existing ownership of American broadcast company ABC. This kind of ownership would be illegal under the Federal Communication Commission, the FCC's, which prohibits a merger between two of the four major broadcast networks. To assuage this issue, the DOJ gave conditional antitrust approval to Disney for the acquisition. The condition was that Disney had to offload the Fox Regional Sports Network within 90 days for the merger to be valid, or the deal would be back on the table and Comcast could make a fair bid to take over all of Fox content. With only 90 days to offload Fox regional sports channels, Disney began looking for potential buyers and finally settled on Sinclair Broadcast Group. In a $10 billion acquisition deal between Disney and Sinclair, there was a condition that Sinclair could only use the Fox name for 18 months. So Sinclair had 18 months to change all Fox Sports properties to another name that also carried good brand value. Now, remember they said they've been working on it for 2 years? So Sinclair been working on it for 2 years to get that straight. A decision was made to bring a gambling element into the brand since sports betting has been potential to generate revenue. The ownership of Fox Sports now gave Sinclair the opportunity to generate revenue using this method. They settled on a 10-year naming rights agreement with Bally Corporation, a company that owns 11 casinos across 7 states and has authorized OTB licenses in Colorado. Bally's will bring the gambling element to the sports channels that Sinclair needed, and the Fox name could finally be shed. The changes are now being implemented very aggressively, and viewers should start getting used to seeing the Bally name instead of Fox. Of course, there are going to be minor transition pains for fans as well, who look forward to seeing the Fox name and will now see Bally instead. It's important to remember that this change was not personal, and the games will continue as usual. The goose will continue to lay golden eggs. Only the countryman who takes care of it has changed. So it's ideal if one can get used to seeing Bally's red sooner rather than later, because from the looks of it, the brand is not going anywhere for the next 10 years. There's a certain amount of adjustment involved when a long-term brand makes such a drastic change, especially for viewers who have been watching Fox Sports for the last 2 decades. But change is the only constant, and it must happen one way or another, so it's better to get on board without thinking too much about it. We hope this article helped you find the clarity you needed regarding why Fox Sports changed to Bally Sports. You can find more information regarding Bally Sports here to help ease the transition. Take care and stay safe. Okay, I just explained to you guys what has just happened when it comes to Fox Sports. And as clear as day, Fox Sports is no longer. It belongs to Bally Sports. So let's talk about Bally Sports and who they work with, shall we? Intro Box promoter claims he has signed Terrence Crawford and Logan Paul. This has been backtracked a bit already, as Bally Sports posted this tweet. You hear him say Bally's? Because Bally's is in conjunction with Fox Sports, but Bally's also works with, or in conjunction with, Intro Box, okay, the one Terrence signed with. Bally Sports posted this tweet later in the evening, which makes it clear that Crawford, see how Bally's claiming him? Crawford has a partnership to promote fights. He gonna make some money, ain't he? With Intro Box. And the only thing they can actually say about Crawford possibly fighting for Intro Box is anything's possible. So they giving information, but they're not letting it all out the bag. Rocky Bivens told Bally Sports at Joe Lago that Terrence Crawford is in a partnership with Intro Box to promote fights. As far as Crawford fighting on Intro Box card in the future, Bivens said anything's possible. So we know that Crawford is with Intro Box, and Intro Box is with Bally's. Intro Box promoter Ron Johnson made a claim tonight that his company has signed Terrence Bud Crawford and Logan Paul, among others, during a Bally Sports boxing broadcast. In the hours since this was posted at this time, the only interaction on the tweet, which comes from the verified official Bally Sports account, is a retweet from Sandeep Chandonk, who lists himself as a digital content producer for Bally Sports. Neither Crawford nor Paul have made a tweet about this, and Crawford is actually active on Twitter at the moment. We sent the message to Crawford's team about the announcement, and we'll let you know if we hear back from him. This will be a major news that comes, to be really clear here, completely from out of nowhere. That's rare in boxing, especially for something that gets announced on TV involving major money fighters like Crawford and attractions like Paul. Johnson also claims he has signed Christopher Pitufo Diaz and Nestor Bravo. It's also worth noting that Johnson's company puts out press releases that refer to Johnson himself as a 5-time world champion, even though this is his pro record. I don't know what all that's supposed to mean. So then I said, okay, let me see if I can find somebody else. This is Ron Johnson, everybody, in case you didn't know. He was a boxer, and he apparently was the goods. I don't know his career. I don't know much about him. Who is this lovely guy right here? Zab Judah. What's that behind him? Valley Sports. Las Vegas Introbox LLC announced its highly anticipated launch date, March 26, 2022, at the Caribe Royale Resort in Orlando, Florida, to air boxing events across its partnering platforms with Sinclair Broadcasting Groups. Can we hear that I just said something about Sinclair? Isn't that the deal that Fox and them had to, because of monopoly laws, had to shed Fox Sports, or get them, they had to offload them just to keep them, you know what I'm saying? Because they couldn't break, you can't be in partnership with 4 of the major networks or whatever, or something like that, breaking monopoly laws. So they found a way to do it. With Sinclair Broadcasting Group's Valley Sports Regional Sports Networks, and Stadium and Display Social. So Intro is with Sinclair, Sinclair's with Bally's. Okay. Intro has secured a multi-event deal with Caribe Royale Orlando for the remainder of the year through the end of 2023, establishing a major commitment to the sport of boxing in the heart of Florida. On behalf of my partner, James Willett, president of Introbox, and our company, we are excited to kick off 2022 and bring the next chapter in boxing and entertainment to the world, starting at Caribe Royale Orlando. Introbox CEO Ron, the American Dream Johnson, said, with our partners Sinclair and Display, I can now say we are ready to deliver the Introbox experience using their vast distribution capabilities in live sports, gamification, and social platforms. So they doing this because, you know what, they are a network. They got their network now. This is why they can do what they can do, because they got their networks. Viewers and fans will be able to access by way of the largest group of regional sports networks, digital platforms, and now the metaverse. We look forward to Introbox joining our growing roster of sports programming across Valley Sports. Do you see that they are all connected? And Stadium. Valley Sports President Steve Rosenberg said their approach to the sport, impressive mix of talent and strategic vision, represents unique and exciting complements to our existing lineup. Introbox full programming schedule, which will be announced at the press conference at the Caribe Royale Orlando in the next few weeks, will include a consistent lineup of premium live matches along with long and short form content for linear and digital platforms. Fans will see a mix of familiar names along with some of the sport's best up-and-coming prospects. We are honored to be working with Introbox and Bally to bring an exciting roster of world-class boxing entertainment events to Caribe Royale Orlando throughout 2022 and 2023, said Amari Piedra, managing director of Caribe Royale Orlando. As the premier all-suites results in Orlando, Florida, with a focus on creating memorial experiences for our guests and local visitors alike. This partnership provides a unique opportunity to add even more high-quality entertainment to our extensive resort offering. And this just so happened to be in Orlando, right? So, y'all saw what I just read, and y'all saw the receipts. Be in Orlando, right? Shit, I'm sorry. Y'all saw what I just read. I don't know why my phone does that all the time. So y'all hit the like button for that nugget. So I think BMAC did a better job of breaking it down, because there was some questions I was trying to answer and find online and that I could not really find. And so I did the best I can to just show the connection. I just showed you guys the connection. Hit the like button. So when they say he signed with PBC, you mean PBC signed with them, or he signed with PBC? And I'm hearing that the money part is going to be more. I don't know what Bud if Bud signed a deal with PBC. I don't know how that deal went, or did PBC sign with Introbox or Fox Sports, which is now Bally Sports, which Bud has a partnership in it as a promoter. Don't that change the dynamic and the narrative altogether about what Bud can do and how he's going to do it? And they keep saying whether Bud fights for them, they don't know just yet. But anything is possible. It's not like it's off the table. But if Bud is in partnership with Introbox and Bally's, which used to be Fox, which PBC needs Fox. Fox don't need PBC. So if Bud is doing that, then tell me again how Bud is behind the curveball. Anybody. If anybody can tell me how he's behind the curveball. Now I put the link in the chat a while ago. So I just wanted to show you guys that, because the narratives out there, again, I'm a person that like to break narratives before they start, unreasonable narratives before they start, or just maybe misinformed narratives before they start. I don't think Bud is beholden to the PBC. I think PBC gonna be beholden to them, because PBC doesn't work with ESPN. Bob got that on lock, and Disney owned that too. And so he ain't gonna PBC ain't gonna work with DAZN and Matchroom and all that, because Eddie got that on lock. The only avenues that PBC had was Fox and Showtime, and now Bud got that on lock. So all that shit that Tim Smith said, he probably put a battery in Bud's back and made him say, you know what, fuck this shit. What y'all think about that? Y'all let me know. Tell me something from what I just read to you. Now I didn't pull Miss T did not pull that out her ass. I read y'all what I was able to look up online, and thanks to BMAC for giving the college seminar in the first place. Y'all better go follow him on the Mac Mob and E Thriller the Black Picasso. Y'all gonna find out nuggets, because they don't just talk it, they give receipts. But I'm gonna give y'all a minute or two to let me actually put some music on. Give y'all a minute or two to tell me what you guys think. I just want to see. I hope y'all weigh in. Turn it down a little bit. Y'all go ahead and weigh in. Tell a sister something, because it doesn't seem like it's matching up to oh, okay. That's got a nice text from somebody. So y'all tell me what y'all think of what I just read. Make sure y'all hit the like button and everything. Tell me what you think I just read. I mean, I know there's more people in here than what I see. Come on, y'all, hit the like button. Hit the damn like button. You know what I'm saying? But y'all tell me. Do it sound like Bud is beholden to PBC? Like PBC got him by the balls? Got a damn moth in here. It doesn't seem like PBC got no power over Bud. That's like going to. Oh, I read that. I'm sorry. Why did? Okay, that they moved. Okay, my bad, Yogi. What y'all think, Alicia? What you think? I mean, I try to emulate my big bro there, BMAC. I don't know if I did a good job, but I showed the correlation, at least. I showed the correlation between Introbox and Bally's, how they work together, how Sinclair came into it, how Disney had to offload them to those folks, and how Bud is tied in with them as a partner. That's the receipt, you guys. And they have put it out there in their social media that Bud is signed with them. And Bud didn't come back and debunk it. He didn't come back and say that's not true. In fact, they said Bud hasn't come on and said anything about whether it's true or not. Neither has Logan Paul. But they haven't come back and said it's not true. And when it comes to fighting the PBC again, for those of the guys out there who putting out that Bud is signed with the PBC, I'm not negating them or doubting them. I'm not sure where they're getting their information. That's all. And they may have something that they read or talked to somebody why they think that. But it sounds like even if they are with the PBC, it's more like the PBC is signed with them. Because if you look at the whole thing, PBC needs Fox. Fox don't need PBC. Salute, ma'am. Salute to the chat. Salute to you, Ambo. Welcome to the building, King. Ambo, I hope you heard what I can't read it no more. What I just put out. But you guys tell me. I'm just waiting on the response. You guys can get in there. I put the link in the chat already. It's up there. I can see it. The phone lines are open if you want to call in and pontificate on it. But that's where things are. That's what things are right now. And it's showing me by what I'm reading that Bud is sitting in the driver's seat. And Kit is in the building. What's popping, King? Salute, Miss T. Salute to you. Y'all remember I come on Monday through Friday at 7:30. I'll be on CP time sometime. I apologize. I'm going to get better at that. I used to didn't do that, but you know how I get with black folks. I'll be on CP time. Be out here doing something during the daytime, and then I'll be like struggling to get back. But y'all tell me what y'all think. Do Bud need the PBC at this point, or the PBC need Bud? I think I heard somewhere where somebody said, and I don't like to call people names out, but it ain't a bad thing. I think he said something about that they upping the price for a potential 2-fight deal with Bud Crawford. Is that because it's Bud Company that's doing that? Bud side of the house doing that? Or is that the PBC having to change your heart? Because if the PBC had to change your heart, I'm sure, considering that they had this backlash with the Tim Smith interview, that they would come out and be braggadocious about it. Sounds like to me, the PBC needs Bud. Bud don't need the PBC. Bud found the workaround. When I tell y'all that Earl Spence is not his own boss, that's not me trying to be negative. He's not. Anybody who's spending somebody else's money is not their own boss. And I will say that forever and ever and ever until it sinks in. Terrell Gosbury is in the building. What's popping, King? He said, hey, Miss T, no, I don't think PBC needs Bud. You don't think PBC needs Bud? Why don't you think so, Terrell? It's all good. We just talking, y'all. Why don't you think so, Terrell? Did you hear what I just was reading? Do PBC needs Fox? Is the question. If your answer is yes to that, he needs Bud. The PBC needs Fox. PBC needs a network. There are two networks they work with. It's Fox and Showtime. They cannot go to ESPN, but Bob Arum has that sold up. They cannot go to the Zone. Eddie Hearn has that sold up. TMT works with BBC. They don't have a network. Even though if you listen to Fred, TMT got enough money to get a network deal too, somewhere. But they haven't. That's the lay of the land. PBC's networks that they involve themselves with is Fox and Showtime. And you can't say, well, they can say, fuck it, I'm just going to Showtime all the way. Showtime farms themselves out to everybody. They're not going to say, okay, I'm only going to deal with PBC. PBC only deals with them. That's the difference. Showtime is not belonging to just the PBC. You say, I'm missing something. What's up with the Showtime? What I'm saying, Terrell, I just read off the deal between Disney and Fox Sports and how Fox Sports is being rebranded to Bally Sports. Fox Sports will cease to exist. It is now owned by Bally Sports. Bally Sports has a deal or partnership with Introbox. This who Terrence Crawford has signed with as a partner. So Terrence Crawford is a partner with Introbox and Bally Sports, who now owns Fox, what we used to call Fox Sports. The biggest sports networks is ESPN, no doubt. But either Fox Sports is either equivalent to ESPN or a close second as far as sports is concerned. Now, I'm saying PBC networks that they use is Fox and Showtime. They don't use The Zone and they don't use ESPN. Bob Arum has ESPN locked up. That's who Bob Top Rank used. Eddie Hearn has The Zone locked up. That's who they use. So when I ask the question, do PBC need Fox? Or do Fox need PBC? To me, the answer is PBC needs Fox. Fox don't need PBC. Because as you know, Fox do a lot of sports. They do football, every sport out there, basketball, whatever. Fox do everybody. They're not beholden to just the PBC. PBC uses Fox Sports and Showtime as a network to get their product off, to get their fighters on TV. Now you got to come see Bud if you go on to Fox Sports, which will no longer be in existence. It is owned by Bally's, where Terrence Crawford has a partnership. You said PBC needs Fox, but they mainly rock with Showtime. But they rock with Fox too. That's the point. They don't do just Showtime. Enough for me to say they put on just as many programs that I've seen with Fox as they do Showtime. Am I telling the truth? They don't do one fight deal with Fox and all the rest of them be Showtime. I've never seen that. I've seen an equal distribution with both. In fact, when they go to Minneapolis, it's always seems like it's with Fox. Showtime ain't been showing a whole lot of just BC fighters. You said they use garbage time on Fox. What's garbage? The fights? Some of the fights? Those are the fights that we get to see for free most of the time on Fox when it's pay-per-view. And I could be wrong, y'all. Correct me if I'm wrong. But when I see the pay-per-view part of PBC, it's always through Showtime. I've never really seen it through Fox. I'm not saying they don't do it, but I see the pay-per-view parts coming through Showtime. But I see a lot of free fights through Fox. And people, casual fans especially, they like Fox. That's why people like ESPN. It's no charge. But whatever app that they have, again, keep in mind that Disney own all this shit. Disney own ESPN. Disney now own Fox by way of funneling it off to another company that they're in conjunction with. Fox will no longer be Fox. It will be Bally Sports. Who has a partnership with Bally Sports? As a partnership in promotion and this, that, and the other. Terrence Crawford. That is true. That is true. I just showed y'all the receipts. Only pay-per-view fighters, let's see. Only pay-per-view fighters is Tank, Spence, and Wilder. They gotta come see Tank now. I mean, they gotta come see. I'm sorry, I said Tank. They gotta come see Bud now. BBC just rolled out a whole roster up to July 9th of the fights they're gonna be putting on. Out of that roster, and I'm gonna say BBC did their thing, because the fights, especially the Earl Spence undercard, that motherfucker shit is tight. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't gonna front on it, but I still ain't buying it because I'm still stuck on the Tim Smith interview. Y'all will bend before I buy their fights. They will bend, like, in other words, before I buy their fights. Wilder was with Fox. And out of Spence, Tank, and Wilder is the biggest pay-per-view star. I also debunked that a minute ago, like a couple of videos ago. Ain't nobody that we be saying that's a pay-per-view star, except you could throw Wilder in there, maybe, as a star. Because I showed y'all the top pay-per-views of all time. And some of the people that we seeing are pay-per-view stars, not knocking Spence, but when you say that that's what he is, that is not true. He's not a pay-per-view star. He's not. BBC got a card all throughout the months up to July 9th. A lot of good fights. This card that they put on with Shea and Tim Tszyu, that was a good card. I ain't gonna lie, that was a good card. I was impressed. I have Showtime, so I can see it. I don't buy Showtime just for the boxing, but I have that subscription. Tay is in the building. What's popping, King? Y'all don't forget to hit that like button. Wilder and Canelo are the only pay-per-view stars in that, indeed. 350,000 to 300,000 ain't shit. You cannot mark that as a. You're right, Tay. You can't mark it as a pay-per-view star just because like when the benchmark is set, it's set, and Floyd Mayweather set the benchmark. So anybody who gets what Floyd gets or close to it, those are your pay-per-view stars. The only person that was on that list was Canelo. Hold on one second, y'all. Hey, Grandma, I'm on the show. Hey, Grandma. Hey, handsome man. Look at you. All right. Okay. Oh, you at your house? You got the baby with you?
Yeah, I'm outside.
I was gonna say you move fast. Hey, Slow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I know that's right. He is. He's so handsome. I'll call you in a minute.
Okay.
All right.
Like you get back.
Yeah, you too. All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Yeah, my bad. I was talking to my sister. She just became a grandmother. We so proud of everybody. We so happy we got a new king going into the clan. And you know what? Thriller, if you listening, our new king that was born on your birthday. Heath Thriller, the Black Picasso, showing proof that kings are born on March 31st. They said my bag, according to Derek James, is 700,000 plus, so he may be a pay-per-view star. Tate, that was a lie. That was a straight up lie. And if you could go to the Mac Mob's channel, he could show you receipts. He specifically said that the pay-per-view buys for Spence and Sean Porter's was 700,000. But you can look everywhere and it will not tell you that. Derek James said it. He's the only one that said that. But people in the know have said how much that fight generated. It generated about 300,000. The highest pay-per-view gate that Earl Spence got was with Mikey Garcia, and that was 350. You say I'm being sarcastic. Okay, I was just checking. It's sarcasm. Okay, I got you, King. I got you. Yeah. So Earl Spence at the most got $350,000 in pay-per-view buys, and that was with Mikey Garcia, where he gave him 50% with no belt. Earl Spence gained nothing by fighting Mikey Garcia, but just thrill of whooping his ass. And I don't totally blame Earl Spence for fighting Mikey Garcia, but he did. All I can say to that fight is that he could have had that would have been an opportunity to fight Terrence Crawford. Whether Errol fight Terrence first or he would have fought Ugas, it's the same thing. They both have one belt. All he can gain from a fight with either Ugas or Terrence is one belt. But the fight everybody wants to see is Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. So this is why Errol catches a lot of flack nowadays, because that was the fight you wanted. If you fought Terrence, if the fight that was coming up was with Terrence, all you would have gained was the third belt. You would have been 3 belts to the good. Then you could have went and fought Ugas or whoever would have took the belt off Ugas, and you would be undisputed. But to people rather have seen Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence fight than Errol Spence and Ugas. But Ugas is a champion, so it's not all bad for Errol. Errol wasn't ready. Yeah. And his fans kind of say it without saying it. They don't know that they're saying it without saying it. Errol was going to lose. He was going to lose. Okay. The Zone is a pay-per-view, so it's caseload really a pay-per-view star. Canelo, Canelo is about the only one that you can say is a pay-per-view star. Because in 2021, he topped the top 5. You cannot put Canelo as being a pay-per-view star when he fought Mayweather, because Canelo was not on that level at that time. Had he beat, then hey, you can spend whatever you want to spend, but Mayweather was the draw in that. Made people buy the pay-per-view in that situation. He did 800,000 plus on pay-per-view. And that's what they say. I think it was more like 700,000. They're gonna keep inflating their numbers. But remember that even Destiny Black put this out there, which is true. And she said you can Google it and find out for yourself. They don't really report exact numbers unless you break a record. They can get you in a ballpark that maybe they be inflating here and there. But needless to say, Canelo can call himself a pay-per-view star today. He can say that because he's in the top 10. He's in the top overall, and that's because he fought Mayweather. But then he's in the top 5 as of 2021. So he can validly say it's validity for him to say he's a pay-per-view star. It's validity to say that Wilder is a pay-per-view star because he made the top 5 as well. So, but everybody else, it's not a pay-per-view star. The benchmark is set. If 1,400 or no 1,600 is acing the SAT, and the year 2021, the top number on the SAT scores countrywide was 800. You don't then say they're the top dogs. They will not get the privileges and ranking and all that stuff that other people who have scored in the past 1,600. Because 1,600 is ace, 800 is not ace. That's SAT scores. So you don't then turn around because this particular year the highest number was 800 and say, all you can say is this particular year it was 800. No college is going to turn around and give them all the perks and stuff that they give people who ace the test. If that makes sense to you guys. Over 1 million with Triple G. So he is, in my eyes, 700,000 is still pay-per-view star worthy. Yes, that I say I'm not negating Canelo's claim, or if Canelo is making that claim. It's not really the fighters that be making those claims that you hear all the time. I don't even hear Errol Spence saying exactly that he's a pay-per-view star, but he does walk around like he is a star. And Derek James have come out and straight up lied to the public about the numbers that him and Sean Porter got. They didn't get that much. And then if you listen to Earl, the bulk of the people that came for him, not Sean. He maybe give Sean a couple of thousand people, but the rest was for him. That's how he couches it. You know, which one is it? You know, which one is it? That's what you have to ask these questions. And then Tay said, his fanboys love him too much. Yeah. But in light of how things are going, I could speculate this. I don't know if Terrence was looking into this well before the Tim Smith interview, but I can speculate, and that's what I'm doing, is speculating, that Terrence probably was pissed off at that interview as I was. I mean, the nerves of steel, you know what I'm saying, that PBC has to come out and admit that they had no intentions, not in the past, present, or future, of paying Terrence Crawford shit. And they let Earl Spence walk around and proclaim and explain to his fans that it was on the table, that he has a plan and he was going to do whatever. So either the PBC is not talking to their partners, because this is what Earl said, he's his own boss and he just works with PBC, but he let Earl Spence walk around kind of blindsided, thinking that, the Terrence Crawford fight is on the horizon. Now, if you look at this fight he got coming up with Ugas, look at his guarantee. Now, we can speculate all day what that money is going to generate, but I don't think it's going to generate that much. He's not going to, I don't think, if he does, I stand corrected. I don't think he's going to generate that much. But his guarantee is like, what, 1.5 million or 2 million, something like that? What is that? I'm on record of saying that PBC should be paying Earl Spence $10 million plus a fight. I don't understand why they don't. You could come up with $40 million to give Canelo, who just breezed into town, took your $40 million and left. But your guy that holds you up, that your big dog over there, your big fish, you can't get this man $10 million plus. What's that? That's crazy. The best you can do is $2 million. So if you paying your big dog, your big fish, $2 million, and Terrence Crawford is used to getting $5 million a fight, I guess you can't afford Terrence Crawford. But don't put it like he ain't good enough for you to give it to him. You don't pay your own fighters decently. That's why you can't pay Terrence Crawford. But Terrence Crawford got, before, this is the catch though, y'all. Before Canelo got undisputed, which was last November, Canelo's accomplishment on his resume was not better than Terrence Crawford. It was not. Okay, wait a minute. He said, I think it will do 250 to 300,000. It may. PBC rarely do pay-per-view as well. And but if it does bad, we will never know. We'll know. They'll try to lie, I'm sure, but we'll, all lies come to the light eventually. They say, you serious, PBS rarely do pay-per-view. Where you been this last year? Come on. I'm telling you what they're doing now. Now, we've had a little run with PBC. I'm thinking you mean PBC. Try to do everything pay-per-view. The fans have spoken and they fell back. That's why they rolled out this new roster that they got from pretty much the Boucher fight to July 9th to try to get people back in their good graces. That's what I'm talking about. We were all complaining that every fight is on pay-per-view. Yes. PBC do 4 to 5 pay-per-views a year. No, not all the time were they doing this. They were putting on relevant pay-per-views. They started off doing free fights, and then they was going through the pay-per-views where we can, justify a pay-per-view. And then they went into this realm, and the last 6 to 8 months, where they try to call themselves putting on, maybe last 6 months, trying to put everything on pay-per-view. And we was like, that's not pay-per-view worthy. This is why you start getting people feeling like they want to protest the PBC initially. And me, even though I didn't like it either, I still was rocking with them. I was still buying their fights and everything. I told y'all what did it for me. You know, you gonna do my boy Bud like that? You let Spence walk around? Because look, either Spence knew how they felt all along, or he didn't know how they felt all along. But you let him walk around like that. So I'm gonna assume that he didn't know exactly how PBC felt. Like they had no intention of getting a fight with Bud and Terrence Crawford. And if you look at the optics of it all, I can see why. They're not even paying Errol Spence what he deserves. Period. There's no reason why that man shouldn't be making $10 million plus a fight. I mean, if you talk about his accolades, if he's the big fish, if he's the heavy lifter at PBC, he's their cash cow. Aren't you paying this man like he is? I remember you paid for that Tank and Cruz fight. Yeah, I did. Remember? Hey, yeah, yes. I was an avid payer of fights. Now, I done got some outfits, some shoes. I ain't been buying PBC for shit here lately. Terrell Gosbury. They only did 2 BS pay-per-views last year. They was on the road. Everybody say that Tank and Cruz fight, but see, I was a fan of Cruz. Remember, Terrell? I was I kept advocating for Isaac Cruz when everybody's like, Miss T, go ahead on with that. Who the fuck is Isaac Cruz? I say, yo, that's a formidable opponent. Everybody was laughing, and then now y'all see. Look at Isaac Cruz now. He's gonna be at the co-main event or the co-feature event under the Errol Spence and Ugas card. Look at him now. Look at God. Terrell Gosper said Tank might have been BS, but it's Tank. You know what I'm saying? And Tank, hey, go holler at Bud. We might could hook you up. You know, we got Pro Bellum out there. Pro Bellum means business. I mean, if you're going to bet on somebody, bet on Richard Schaefer. You know, I don't know how Pro Bellum is going to work in the long run, but I will bet on Richard Schaefer. Because Richard Schaefer is the reason Golden Boy was ever the shit in the first place. He the one who helped. Remember, most of Mayweather fights came under the guise of Richard Schaefer cutting that deal, not Oscar. Oscar and Mayweather don't get along, but Richard Schaefer was like the president CEO of Golden Boy. He made that shit happen. They said past 6 months were crazy. Yeah. And Kit said, Miss T, Bud made a boss move. BBC and the Alphabet channels hated on this man so much that they don't realize God made Bud enemies his footstool. Bud finna call the shots. He really can say 60-40. Indeed, that is my point, and Kit. Indeed. They gotta come see him. He don't gotta take y'all pennies. He gonna get paid. He get paid even if he not fighting. Because he really is a boss. Partnership. And Kit 78 said chess, not checkers. Indeed. Tay said Thurman, Ortiz, or Tank. For what? Like, for Bud? He beats all of them. Tara Gosbury said Tank should just stay with the PBC under GTD Promotions. Talking about his own promotional company. Tank, yeah, I mean, Tank is getting from under Mayweather. I think it's got a lot to do with y'all be talking about demasculation all the time. Shout out to Floyd. I love Floyd to death, but Floyd make a man feel less than a man. I don't know if you intend on doing it. You don't have to apologize or quantify anything about your success because you were chosen. God chose you to have those success and everything. You are the bomb.com in that ring. But outside, socially, you know, I've heard some things like how you are just around your peers, and sometimes you tend to make men feel like less than men. I don't know any man who want to put up with that. They don't put up with that for women. I don't think men put up with that from their family. There's only so much a man can take when y'all have big egos of pride. Sometimes to y'all detriment, but I don't see how you can take that. You said no, those trash ass pay-per-views, yeah. And you said Charlo, shit was bad, yeah. TMT promo is trash. Yeah, I just told y'all what Charlo had to say about Bud. He's sounding like he's scared to fight Bud. Period. I quiver with his question. What does Bud have to prove to you? You have never done anything on the level of Bud. He is so past beyond you. You don't know what it feels like to be undisputed yet. Bud does. You don't know what it feels like to be a champion in 3 different weight classes. Bud does. You don't know. You just now learning what it feels like to have 3 belts. Bud already did. So what does he have to prove to you? That's the statement that Jermell Charlo has put out there. Amongst other things, saying that Benavidez should go fight cruiserweight. Benavidez probably is a weight bully. He probably deserved to be up that high, but with Charlo, you and him would never face each other. Maybe him and your brother. So what's your intent or what's your purpose or point to even mentioning that? You gotta ask these questions. But that shit he said about Bud, that's a low-key, condescending remark. If not a low-key insult. And nobody's gonna call him on it, but we are supposed to be for our brother. We're supposed to have this black pride and black love. Nobody's picking up on it. This is why Bud don't feel the love from black folks, some black folks. People want to charge him up for saying, shout outs to the UK fans. The UK fans have been nice to him. You treat people how you want to be treated. He's not shitting on his black fans. If somebody feel like that he's shitting on them, maybe it's because you shitted on him. I've never shitted on Bud, so I don't feel that he was talking to me. But I do feel like he might have been talking to people who shitted on him, calling him all kinds of names, downgrading him, devaluing him, all this stuff. When Bud fights, look who he signed with now. Look who he's in partnership now. Bud gonna make money. He got a network. Remember y'all say, you got to do this, you got to do it. He has a network. If he needs to put on a fight, he got a network and he got people backing him. And he can put up his own money because he's in partnership with them. That's a boss. They said Bud has accomplished more than any of these cats. Indeed. 3 belts in how many years, but they accomplished all this shit. Yeah. He was getting his head boxed off with Harrison. OFC scared. If Harrison got on his bike, he would have won. The problem between him and Harrison Tay was Harrison's power didn't compete or equal Charlo. Charlos are the shit in that ring. I give it to him. Male especially. The motherfucker be wanting to smoke. That's why it's so shocking that he direct Bud's attention elsewhere. And I was like, you don't see it as a compliment. Bud don't want to go to the scrub in the division. You want to go to the best. You, my dear, is one of the best. I would take that as a compliment. Even your own boy said it. He'll fight you if he has to. What makes Bud different? You like you got other business. You got all this. You got to prove yourself to somebody who hasn't done a lick of what you did. How does that make sense? They said the fight was already won. You know what I'm saying? Everybody want Bud to get in there with all these other people because they're hoping against hope that Bud lose. But he's not. He's a focused fighter. He don't smoke. He don't drink. He don't do nothing. He in that way follows the Money Mayweather's blueprint. Because Mayweather didn't smoke, drink, do none of that. That's why Mayweather was able to last as long as he did. Mayweather was still fucking motherfuckers up damn near at 40. So hey, that's the remedy. If you think that okay, even now it's better late than never than to quit all that type shit. But if you think that shit ain't gonna take its toll on you, you got another thing coming. Act. They hope Bud is about to lose. Terrell. Why you say that? Terrell Gosberg, why you say that? Explain, dear sir. Let me put this link in the chat again. You get on here and say why you think that. Y'all know I'm not gonna beat you up. I'm very friendly. I'm gonna let you pop your shit. Terrell, beam in. Put your avatar up. Beam in and tell us why you think that. Spence is not a better boxer than Bud. He's just not. But just because he's not don't mean he can't win. I'm not saying that. But he's not a better boxer than Bud. He's not. He doesn't have many adjustments. He's a plain come forward fighter. He does have a good jab, but so does Lucas. Lucas has a good jab too. He doesn't have a better jab, but Bud has a good jab. So now we're back to square one. What separates them? Bud can do everything. More things than Spence. That's what made Bud a better boxer. Does it equate to meaning directly that Bud can beat him? No. But you will see when I talk about boxing that I favor the complete fighter more than I favor a basic fighter every time and twice on Sunday. It was nothing personal with Errol, just to let y'all know. They said with who, Errol? Nah, Bud gonna unanimous decision him. Anyone can join. Yeah, anyone can join in. I put the link. Just click the link. You come in. You say, I'm at work while I get on. I hear you, King. Thanks for listening to me at work, too. Hope I'm helping you get through the day. That's what I hope. I hope so. Hey, he getting scared. No, he at work. Yeah, work. The Bud is IQ is yes, it is. It's way better. Terrell is way better. Jay said yes, it is. It's way better, dog. Did you see how he knocked Porter down first? He did several steps. Spence don't do that. Spence doesn't do that. He doesn't move his head that much. He comes forward. He can't fight backing up. I've never seen a fight where he backing up and do well. He don't know how to. Bud stepped back like a four counter. He stepped back on Sean and went to the right. Stepped over to the right. Threw his arm up as a distraction and knocked his ass down with an uppercut. That's moves. That's IQ. When there was points when Sean trying to do that jerky and going out, Bud moved up and down, threw his rhythm all off. Let's not do that shit. Bud fights in English. Sure, Spence is a southpaw. So is Bud. Spence is only a southpaw, but Bud is not. And he does both well. You know, if Bud wasn't a good southpaw, he would never get into that stance. That would be dangerous for him. He can fight orthodox and southpaw. And Bud has knocked out the last 10 or 11 opponents that he's fought. They said facts. Terrell said, yeah, definitely getting me through my second job. I feel you, King. You out there being the king. Never fight backing up. No, Spence doesn't. Spence don't shift neither. He come forward, he throw his jab, he's relentless. What Spence do have is he's relentless, and you have to break his will. Now, I always talk about Terrell. I Spence go for the nuts. And y'all count how many times he do this in this fight. He's chronic with that shit. That's not right. The ref don't catch it, so I guess it don't mean nothing. I guess he putting it all in the field. But I'm saying, if you all that, why you got to use that tactic? Bud is great off the back foot, throwing the 6 off the back foot. Yeah. Bud does everything. He does a lot of things. And that's just the truth. You know who does it too? Just as well? Bruce Simmons. I don't think he's better than Bud yet. But Bruce does that. Bruce looked more like a 154 fighter anyway to me. And now Terrell said Bud can't beat Spence. I'm not saying he can't. I just don't think he will. I feel he can. That's the perspective. I respect that. Tay said Bud did a great job at countering Porter. He did. He beat the fighters that they have in common better than Spence. And if anybody has reasons, those are excuses. Reasons and excuses walk a thin line. Doesn't matter the reasons. He beat him better. He wasn't able to cut off the ring, and when he Porter, he has better footwork than Spence, and ain't cut off the ring. That fight that Porter and Spence had was tooth and nails. It was. You guys gotta admit that it was tooth and nails. Y'all can say a reason why Spence didn't just turn it up and fight his fight. Spence couldn't fight his fight. If he could, he would have done it. He couldn't fight his fight with Porter, because Porter do have better footwork than Earl. And Bud apparently has better footwork than Porter. That herky-jerky did not work with Bud. Did you hear the shots that Bud was hitting him in the chest with? One time, Porter paused half a second. Now, y'all got to think about it like this, too. Porter being hurt is not the same as everybody else being hurt. Porter, to his credit, is probably one of the best, if not the best, in the welterweight who can take a punch. Straight up and down. He gets that award and take a motherfucking punch. So when Porter is hurt, it's not the same as somebody else. And Porter was hurt a lot of times in there with Bud. It's evidently clear. Got knocked down twice. That second knockdown, Porter couldn't readily get up. He was shaking. Y'all didn't see that? Go back and watch that fight. Watch when he was pounding. He was pounding that damn because at the time he knew he couldn't just pop back up. If you want to convince the ref or convince your dad that you in it to win it, you will pop back up. You know, that first time he got knocked down, it's like his father was telling him, one more again. Because you saw Porter looking over there at him and nodded his head. He probably was saying, one more time, nigga, you out of there. Now, his father kind of explained why he stopped the fight, because he knew his son didn't have what it takes, and Bud was in destroy mission, seek and destroy. So that was a knockout for Bud. Just because Kenny Porter stopped it, don't mean it wasn't a knockout for Bud. We don't get into those semantics when other people get their fight stopped by the ref or stopped by whatever. And it don't be a complete, just washed out, knocked out on the canvas type loss. We don't do that for other fighters. We can't do that for Bud. We have to be fair. Bud was losing to Porter until he wasn't. No, he wasn't. I don't see how you say that. But see, that's a narrative people want to say, because Porter fought Bud probably better than any other welterweight did. When Bud fought Porter, he controlled distance. Porter, who is amazing at cutting off the ring and has better footwork than Spence, and he couldn't do it. But Spence is going to be able to do it. Yeah. He barely got hit clean in that fight, but Bud gets hit a lot. I think Spence got hit more than Bud. If you look at Bud's face at the end of that fight, he looks the same. Look at Spence's face at the end of the Porter fight. Yeah. Spence is relentless. That dude got will of steel. That's what makes him great to me. He will break you down he will break you before you break him. That's what makes him great to me. And that will work on a lot of people, but it ain't gonna work on Bud, in my opinion. Because just as much, how Floyd say, you gotta be able to take it as well as you can give it. Bud hurts you with both hands. Bud can switch on you. He's one of the few fighters who can switch and not get caught. Because y'all know and I know that in boxing, you can't be switching up like that all the time. Can't be switching up. That's dangerous. And Bud is one of the best to do it. Because it don't mean nothing. But Conor tried to switch that one time. Conor McGregor tried to switch on Floyd. He was doing it a couple of times. Then Floyd caught his ass and showed him, you better not do that again. And he didn't. I hate when they say that shit, but barely got touched. If Spence didn't have that knockdown, and you can tell he needed it by his response, if Porter did not flash knockdown or touch the canvas or whatever, what would the fight have ended in? A lot of people act like the Spence stalled Porter, and there was just such a big daylight in between him beating Porter. And it wasn't. It was tooth and nail. I don't know how anybody can watch that fight and say that it was such distance in between what Spence was doing to Porter. It was tooth and nail. And to be honest, that Porter is one person that I've seen two of them, Delbrook and Porter. Beat on Spence. Tooth and nail. You know why? Because Spence don't have no adjustments. Not really. His adjustments is going for the groin. I've shown several times the compilation video of Spence hitting hitting low, and not just a little bit, like perfectly aiming at it. And that y'all men tell it. That's the worst thing that can happen, right? But some men power through it. But somebody explained to me, when your adrenaline going and you end the fight like that, you might don't feel it like you could if you was just sitting there chilling and it just came out of nowhere. Same with Porter, and we saw what happened. Spence is just basic, in my opinion, from the outside. Yeah, he's a basic come forward fighter. He is. He ain't worse than Virgil Ortiz because he's basic too. And then if y'all really want to see the difference between a complete fighter and a person who don't have enough tools in the bag, look at that fight that Boucher had on that night. The fella Elvis Rodriguez and his opponent Velasco. They both were putting in offense, but Velasco couldn't do offense at the same time, switch back to defense. Whereas Rodriguez could, Elvis, he can make that transition easy, but he was always offensively minded. And then look at the energy. The energy matters, and Spence has that. He has that energy, and Spence is relentless. I swear that is his best attribute. That's his best attribute. But a lot of people talk about the Crawford and Spence fight like Crawford can't hurt Spence, and he could. And Spence could hurt Crawford. But see, that's the great equalizer. Now that we know both can hit hard, they both can be in a proper stance of boxing. They both can jab. They both can come forward. But Spence don't move his head. Crawford can switch hit. Crawford can parry. Crawford can change angles. Crawford can adjust. You see how I stopped playing what Spence can do? That's the difference, y'all. That is the only reason why I favor Bud over Spence. Crawford got knockout power. Spence can hit you enough that you quit. Spence don't have knockout power. That's why all his fans want Crawford to fight somebody. They hoping that that person will find the loophole to knocking Crawford out or getting at him. They hoping that somebody else can expose him. And then, and the fact that he has knocked out the last 10 or 11 opponents, they rather just say that those opponents were tomato cans, but they Crawford make them look like tomato cans. Which one is it? So I'm just telling you guys that that's my only reason. Nothing against her. I never hated her. I don't like hypocrisy, and I don't like when people downgrade people or put people down. I really don't like it in my personal life. Even if it's done to me, I don't like it. But I don't like it when it's done to other people because it's not necessary. You can toot your own horn without putting somebody else down. And low key kind of sinning, and that's what's going on with Bud. But Spence also know that his fans make a mountain out of molehill. They do. They'll take a little something that Spence said and they'll make it larger than life. Once you know that you got that kind of control or that kind of influence over your fans, you should be cognitive of what you say. Just like a president of the United States have to understand the fact that they are figuratively the leader of the free world. You know what I'm saying? Figuratively, not literally, but figuratively, meaning what he say can start a shitstorm or help things along better. He has to be cognitive of every word he says, right? It's not that he can't make a mistake here and there, because he can't. He has to be cognitive of everything he say for the betterment of the whole world. In boxing, Spence fans, he knows he has to be cognitive of what he say. He's learning that now, and I give him that. In fact, I'm very impressed with the young man here lately because he called out a reporter and basically let him know, look, you're trying to start shit. He didn't say that. He found a better way to say it. He was diplomatic in his approach, and I'm proud of him for that because that reporter was trying to get him to talk about Deontay Wilder, and Spence was like, look, you're not going to get me. This is how black people probably interpret it. You're not going to get me to shit on another black man, but you've been trying to get something, and I'm not a willing participant. He was nice to the reporter. He didn't go ham. He didn't act crazy. Like if that was Charlo or somebody who would have gave in and probably had something to say, or even if he was going to say what Earl said, would have shitted on the reporter and all that. So kudos to Earl Spence. It seems like he's learning on the curve. But the damage was done, and hopefully it gets better. But this PBC thing, I'm not knocking people who think that he signed a deal with PBC. I think the PBC signed a deal with him. And just for the record, if Crawford's side of the house, or what side he's on, not side, I don't want to do the sides of the street, but if Crawford's team was Intro Box / Bally's / the old Fox, if Crawford's team somehow puts a card together, they have a network, and they put up the money, you have forfeited your status as a big fish or as the top tier fighter, the A side. Because if everything is about money, everything is about money. I'd be damned if I put up the money and I'm going to get the short end of the stick. No, that's not going to happen. They said they keep moving the goalposts for Bud. First it was he ain't fight nobody and he needs to fight Porter. And it will be a test to see if he really that guy. Now it's Porter was trash and on the way out. Yes, They did do that. And I heard them say that we'll know when Kell Brook, we'll know when Porter. And Crawford beat those two guys better than Spence did. It don't matter the reason why it happened. I saw somebody try to explain the reason why Crawford beat what's his name, Kell. Kell got some good licks off me. Kell is a top tier fighter. Kell is more dangerous now since he beat Amir Khan than he probably was a few years ago. But they never take into account that Kell fought Triple G, and that's where the injury came. And that's that kind of injury is like once you hurt one eye, you overworking the other eye, whether you know it or not, and you're degrading it. So you make it more easy and susceptible to being hurt. So that was 6-7 months later before Earl Spence, and of course got the other eye damaged. You know what I'm saying? He took a long time off, had a couple of fights, won, and then he fought Crawford. And they was like, yeah, we'll see now, because Kell Brook is a force to be reckoned with. And Crawford beat him easy. You can't then come and make up an excuse as to why that happened. There's no excuse. He got his ass whooped by a better fighter, period. Then it was the Porter. Let's see. I'll change my mind or I'll see. But then he beats Porter easy. And then here come the other excuses again. The fact will never change. Crawford beat them better than Earl did. And if Earl could have done it, he would have done it. You can't make excuses. It doesn't matter what you was trying to do. You didn't do it. Can anyone join the link? Yes. Hey, anyone can join the link. Let me put it back in. You can join the link and just click the link and follow the instructions on your side. You'll pop up in here. Want to? Anyone could join, call a number, but I blame myself for not always have the number up and running because I wouldn't know if somebody was calling or not. But the number is up and running today. You can call in using the number 706-804-4449. You can do that too. The link is in the chat if you want to jump in and speak your piece. It's all to the good. But I thought that I will come on and discuss with Jermell Charlo had to say and speculate and give my conclusion. I think it's low-key condescending and a low-key insult to ask a man to prove something to you that you have not even done your damn self. It's like somebody who dropped out of high school said, prove you smart. Motherfucker, I got 3 degrees. Why do I got to prove something to you who has none? Well, anybody can get that. Or you ain't know this. I mean, people are amazing to me. You know how hard it is to get a degree, period? You know how many classes you got to take that you don't care for and know nothing about and maybe not good at to get a degree? Everybody who gets a degree, I don't care what degree you got to take 3 science. You might not be good at science. You got to take 4 history type classes. You might not be good at history. You got to take 2 or 3 politics classes. You got to take other things, humanities. You got to do a lot of stuff you don't want to do. Gym classes, just to get a degree. So I've had people tell me, prove you smart just because you got degrees, don't mean that. It does mean something. I stood the test of time. I did the hard work. That's what it means. It didn't. It's the same. Prove to me. What do you got to prove to you, Jermell? Tay is in the building. What's popping, King? How you doing?
Hey, what's good? It's my first time hopping on here, so I thought I'd just chop it up.
Oh, yeah, man.
They keep moving the goalposts, man. It's annoying. Like they start to sound like Canelo fans, honestly. But if we did the same stuff with Canelo instead of Spence, if we change names and put Thurman, they'll be all over this, man. But they not. I just don't like that kind of energy, man. I don't like them being hypocrites.
They do. And that's what I be trying to stamp out. I'm not I'm not I don't know how to say it. I'm not an agitator type person. I don't want to be. I like to be calm and plain and would like to respect everybody's opinion, even if you don't agree with me and everything. Maybe that's not, popular or, whatever, but that's who I am. But I will be firm when I need to be firm. I think that people need to speak on this thing with Jermell Charlo telling Bud to prove himself. That need to be really talked about across the board. Because, that can be a narrative that's built up. It's another way to put this man down. That's how I see it. And I'm going to talk about it. Charlo, you are in no room. You have no room to ask this man to prove something to you that you have never done. He's done things you have never done. Prove what to you? And then all the stuff that we go back and forth with Earl and Bud and PBC, what they said, Bud made all of y'all eat y'all words. He made all of y'all look like foods. He did. A lot of us sat back, including myself, and was just amazed, Tay, at the disrespect. How about you? Like, I was just,
Like they compare this man to like Boot, saying that they both haven't done anything. Like that's just crazy to me, bro. Like we comparing him to a prospect that hasn't even been in the position to be a mandatory to anyone yet, but he's supposedly ducking him. And like this, I was in one conversation. They were like, Bud has to take 40% if he wants to fight Charlo. That he can't demand anything. That he hasn't really fought no one. And Charlo don't need to fight him. It's just a bunch of stuff, man. It's just so weird.
well,
It's so weird.
We know that. To me, as I said, I think Charlo should look at it as the glass half full. Bud paid him a compliment in my eyes because he didn't go to anybody. He went to the best of the best. He's talking like he assumes that's going to be Charlo. Charlo and Castano hasn't had that fight yet. But Bud is talking like he thinks he's going to meet up with Charlo, meaning that he gives you the edge on winning. Everybody knows that you and Castano are the man. Really, you, because you got 3 belts. I say that in the welterweight division, I'm brave enough to say that Earl Spence got all the accolades in the welterweight division. He has 2 belts, on the verge of having 3. Yeah, but you can't devalue this man on your way to glory. Charlo directing him to everybody. I mean, he got work to do. He got to prove himself. Prove what? Prove what? Well, how do you feel about Charlo saying that Bud got to prove himself? How do you feel about it, Jay?
That just sounds silly to me. I mean, it's the same thing with like Earl. He's done way more in the same amount of time. Like these guys, they will wish like to have Bud's career, like 3 division world champion, undisputed in 1 weight class. Like that's silly to me.
He was unified at 135. He was undisputed at 140, and he's the champion at 147.
Yeah.
Charlo, you have never been out the 154 division that I know of.
Same with Arrow. They both never been out the 150.
Y'all in the same motherfucking division that you started off with, pretty much. I heard, I don't know how true it is, that did they say Earl fought at 154 at first and then went down?
Yeah. He started at 154 and he moved down.
So, you could look at it glass half empty or glass half full. You could say, why did you go down? You couldn't hack it up there with those guys. Or you could say, well, he felt it was a better move for him to be at 147. I'm not charging him up either way. If he want to fight at 147, he fight at 147. But he did the bulk of his career at 147.
Yeah.
And so that means you guys have not shown. When Charlo was complaining and mad that he was not on pound for pound, I felt like, especially when he got the 3 belts, he should have been. Charlo, I felt like you should have been. But the guys who get the pick it didn't feel like you should have been. Maybe because you only been at the same weight division. When you talking about pound for pound, they looking at, can you, with your skills, compete with anybody at any weight class and win. Like, that's what make them, choose pound for pound. That's one of the factors. I'll tell you fell out. And Charlo, you haven't showed them that because you've been at the same weight class. You are the man at 154. You will get the biggest person. It's no need to even talk about it. Don't derail yourself, Charlo, and talk about stuff that don't matter. It's not even up for discussion. Of course, you're going to get the lion's share because you are the man at 154. Stop directing Bud elsewhere. If Spence don't give him the fight, he's not going to wait for Spence. That's all he's saying. And with his position being a super WBO champion, he can make a beeline to whoever that champion is, whether it's you or Castano, which would mean he's going for undisputed at your weight class. Now, you may hear Bud try to come up and you drop your belts. Maybe you do that. But Bud is going to fight somebody for the WBO and he'll win. So that would make him a 4 division a champion. What'd that make y'all? You know what I'm saying? If you drop your belts, I can't begrudge you from dropping your belts. I can't begrudge that because a lot of people do that. But, just the shit that y'all be saying. So you're right. I'm going to jump on that and say bull hockey because it's not necessary. You ain't going to get away with low-key devaluing Bud and all that stuff. And I'm not going to say nothing about it because that's what you're doing. You are devaluing him and you low-key condescending as if don't nobody catch it. When you say shit like that, he got to prove. Prove what? Prove that he did some shit you couldn't do? Prove what? See, that's how people can turn around and be just as vulgar as you in their statements. Prove something that you couldn't do? Because last time I checked, even on pound for pound for the past 5 years, arguably number one most of that time, it's only since Canelo got his undisputed has Canelo really been, taking charge of that. And shit, Canelo just got that in November. He's been a 3 division champ. He was unified at 135. He was undisputed at 140. Have you done that, Charlo? All you are unified right now in 1 division. Bud did it in 2. And you don't even know what it feels like to be undisputed. Bud do. And he's been Ring Magazine twice, lineal champion twice. You ain't did none of this shit. Prove what? Stop the shit. Stop the motherfucking shit, please. But I hope that I hope y'all take away what I read about the correlation between Intro Box and Bally Sports and Sinclair and Disney. I hope y'all understood that because I showed it to you on the screen and I read it. You know what I'm saying? I showed it to you. What's up? You had a call. I see. I showed it to you. My boy, my big bro, B-Mac, broke that shit down lovely the other day. And I said, I'm going to try to do it justice. And I hope I did. And Kit, you was in there. I hope I did B-Mac justice. And that's the Mac Mob. Y'all should go and join and check out how he broke it down. I think better than me. But I try to do it justice because I know some people ain't going to go over there to his channel. But I implore y'all, whether you like a channel or not, because I do this, go ahead and show the black love and join. I don't have to agree with nothing you say. I'm going to show black love and go ahead and join. I'm not saying you got to do it for me. But that's how I see it.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm saying I saw him on E-Thriller. I think that's And
Kid, he's a regular over there. So shout out to you, and Kid. He said, "Laugh out loud, Miss T. Not only the achievements Bud has, but this move Bud did. Charlo should peep that move with his kittens only brand and do the same. So what is Charlo talking about? Bud need to prove himself. You got it. He said, you did, Queen. Thank you. Thank you, Aunt Kit. Thank you. Yeah. And so you guys, it's evidently clear that Bud don't need PBC. He don't. But I know that a lot of people gonna feel that he do. And it's nothing I can do. Y'all have to wait and see. As we trying to tell y'all. What you think about that move, Tay? Do you think, what you think about Bud's latest move?
What is the move? I kind of missed what you was talking
Oh,
about.
you missed it? Okay.
Yeah.
Go back when I do close it, go back and watch the kind of beginning. You can after I talked about Charlo first. After I talked about Charlo, I went into and I showed the receipts of Bud signed a partnership deal with Introbox/Bally's.
Mm-hmm.
Bally's is going to take over Fox Sports completely.
Oh wow. So basically he gonna be like on that same side. But I don't like that same side talk, man. If people really want to fight, they can get the fight done in my eyes, man. I know this is.
But this ain't even about, they can't even say same side of the street, because when they saying that, they're talking about promoters. This ain't nothing about promoters, just promoters. This is about a network.
So he's signing directly to the network?
Pretty much. PBC can have all the promoter shit that they want. They gotta have a network to play their fights, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bud is in partnership with the network that does business with the PBC. The PBC works with Fox and Showtime equally.
Mm-hmm.
That's where they show their fights.
Yeah.
Well, now Bud has a partnership in Fox, but Fox is no longer, it's Bally's.
Oh, I did not know that.
Sports. Yeah. So go watch. It's right there, kind of in the first 30 minutes. After I talked about Charlo, then you will see that I broke down or read the receipts of how Bud is tied into the new Fox.
Mm-hmm.
Fox will cease to exist, but all of their holdings going to Bally's. So if the PBC still want to do business with Fox, aka Bally Sports, now they doing business with Bud. Bud in the driver's seat over there compared to them. That's why I asked the question, do PBC need Fox or do Fox need PBC?
PBC needs Fox.
Exactly.
Fox don't even need, they got like football, sport, like that's
baseball.
Boxing is probably so small. Mm-hmm. I mean, not too small, but it's like compared to like football and stuff like that.
And baseball and basketball.
Yeah, they get blown out the water.
ESPN is the biggest sports network that's probably out there. But next to it is either Fox.
Yeah, I think definitely it's Fox right after that. I kind of enjoy Fox's shows more, but that's just me. I enjoy First Take and ESPN more.
Right.
First Take and Undisputed more.
Right.
That's my opinion.
Right. So who y'all working for now? Why y'all trying to say that Bud has got to be beholden to PBC?
I don't like.
He don't.
I hate it when people say that. It's just like it's more duck talk. Like
exactly.
We signed it just like Canelo fans, and they don't even realize it. All these barriers to make these fights. We doing the same exact thing.
Exactly. So in the end of the day, all I'm saying is when y'all come over to Fox, you got to break bread with Bud. You ain't so much in the driver's seat. That's boss move.
But he's such a bad businessman. He was making more guaranteed money than Spence. Like, come on.
Like, yes, he has. And as I said, no hit against Spence and anybody else who say this. You ain't your own boss.
Aren't they in there?
And they got an LLC and got your LLC for your promotional company like you're a boss. When you spend someone else's money, you're not the boss. Mm-hmm. Now, you used to say that Devin Haney was about. I love Devin Haney. I do, but I'm just speaking facts, y'all. All this time, Devin Haney's about. Look what Devin Haney is now.
I think that's a good move. I mean, I've been talking back. I've been going back and forth. It may not be as bad as I thought. You know what I'm saying? He gonna get that exposure. Of course, we think he really big, but he ain't never been on like a site like ESPN. So I think we'll see him to new fans, even grow himself. But yeah, Devin needs to separate from all these niggas, man, and just become his own. honestly, I want to have him like have his own like whole promotion where he's like signing more and more fighters. He's like like what Floyd could have done. You know what I'm saying? Floyd really could have owned boxing.
Mm-hmm.
Like how much power he had. He could like people you have to fight for. You have to come over here to fight for. And I think hopefully Devin gets like a deal with the company like that and just like becomes his own promoter and like basically I want Devin to become like his own like Al Heyman or Bob Arum. That's what I want Devin to become.
Devin still has potential. You guys, Devin is 23 years old. He's young enough to make a couple of mistakes and bounce back from it.
Mm-hmm.
He has an opportunity, even signed with Bob Arum, is to get more exposure. But Devin, he got to go in there and do the damn thing in the ring. You got to put George Kambosos on his ass the way he need to be, right off the strip, and then do it again in the rematch, and just go for what you can go for, like your exposure, getting your name up. People have made suggestions like you should hashtag, because you're on Twitter all the time. Hashtag, like if you at the basketball game, hashtag LeBron, just all that stuff, so your name can be in the mix. Network, whatever that they say you should do. If you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. But Devin has shown us that even he was not his own boss. So I'm not picking on Devin when I say that. And yes, all of these guys got way more money and influence and power than I do. But, that narrative gets fighters caught up in a lot of controversy.
I think what you're trying to say, because I was kind of confused, but I think where you're saying that he had to do this thing to get a fight. So he's not technically his own boss if he has to like meet people's demands. You know what I'm saying? Like he has to go somewhere.
Do you think Floyd Mayweather had to do it?
Yeah.
Nope. He had to do it now.
Like, I mean, yeah, now he don't. I'm saying to get to that level, he had to do some crazy shit, and I think maybe that's what Devin trying to do.
Floyd had to buy himself out of his contract, and when he did that, he's been good ever since. I'm saying, like Floyd, even a few years ago, do you think he would have had to succumb to a contract like Devin just took? No. You always had to play by Floyd rules. Yeah. Once he got free. That's being your own boss.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, then I totally agree. He ain't his own boss yet. But he gonna get there, I think. He gonna get there.
Yeah.
You see the moves he's making? I love it.
I wish nothing but the best for him. But you're gonna have, this is where the controversy starts, when you have people beating their chest saying, I'm my own boss and all that. It starts arguments, you guys. Unnecessarily. You might have put yourself in a greater position than the next person. Kudos to you, and be happy with that, because even if like Earl got man down, he works with PBC. I'll take it like that. You work with PBC, you work with them, and so you put yourself in a better position or whatever. But you can see you're not your own boss. They won't pay you over $2 million. You get a paycheck.
And that's crazy. They gave Canelo, I mean, just like what you said, they gave Canelo 40 million. Pay-per-views to everything, but Spence is supposed to be found with $1 million, but he's supposed to be this, like, that's crazy. But PBC is this amazing thing for black people. Oh my gosh.
I don't see it. I don't see it. But even knowing that, Tay, I still was buying their fights. It's just
I wasn't. I've been streaming them.
When they shitted on Bud, I was done. And Kid said, "Hey, Miss T, Bud should do a partnership with Showtime as well. Then they really have no excuse. And Earl and Charlo would definitely have to answer to him on both ends." I feel you, Kid. I feel you.
I feel like he's gonna fight Earl soon, so I think that whole fight is gonna become. I think he's gonna win.
I don't know if they're gonna fight, but maybe.
I think they is. Maybe I'm just too hopeful right now, but I think he's gonna fight later at the end of the year.
Ain't nothing wrong with being optimistic, but if left up to PBC, I don't think it's gonna happen. The way it is now, if Bud team, and I'm gonna call it team, let me say side of the house, side of the street, whatever. But if Bud's team, his new team, comes and say, "Hey Earl, look, we put on the fight, and the purse is $50 million. You take half, I take half. Guarantee or something." You think Earl ain't gonna do it? Earl gonna be willing to, if both of them get paid $25 million each. Earl gonna do that shit. But then whoa. Earl gotta ask Al, and Al ain't gonna let him do it. So much for being your own boss.
Yeah, I have a question. Isn't he in a 360 deal with like PBC? I remember hearing on Fred. It's talking about they all in 360 deals with Al Heyman that they can't do anything without him, without his consent.
Yeah, they do non-disclosures over there, and Al get the final say. If you're under contract with Al, you cannot go freelance or moonlight with no one else. With the one that Devin Haney had with Eddie, which was good for Devin. That's why I said Devin had a better position.
He did.
Where Devin can go work with the Zone, or he could work with PBC, or he could work with. Devin wasn't locked in. He had a good little thing for himself.
He did. He was making good money too.
He was making good money. So I understand why that young man can feel like he was the boss. He was making boss moves, but he wasn't his own boss. And I'm gonna tell y'all, when y'all listen to Eddie Hearn and you hear him talk about these fighters, watch how he dropped that nugget every time that he paid them.
Yeah.
That's low key. But he ain't wrong for saying it. He letting you know, look, nigga, I pay you. I pay you.
Yeah.
And when another man can say that up to another man, you know he's your boss. I mean, that's all I was saying. But Tay, do you have anything extra? Because I got mosey on to the Mac Mob, see what he cooking on today. I don't know what time he come on, but it should be soon. And I want to make sure I catch it. But you got anything that you wanted to add in from even the previous week or whatever? Or you want to pontificate on something? The floor is yours. Tay? Tay? Can't hear you. You might have muted yourself. Tay? Not sure what happened with Mr. Tay there. But yeah, y'all think about some of this stuff that I say. Don't let these narratives take flight. Don't let Jermell Charlo come up in here and suggest that Benavidez go to a cruiserweight when he is not a person in line to even fight him. I have a problem with boxers talking kind of out of pocket about other boxers because, again, I don't want to see the controversy that we have now between Earl and Bud. Earl fans compel people to have to speak up and say things that we probably would just let work out in the wash, because of the things that they say. And you just be feeling, I know I'd be feeling compelled to say certain things because some things is just not true. I mean, you're bragging and you're getting your bones off of things that just really not true. So I have to feel like that I'm speaking up for stuff. One thing I want to be is a narrative crusher and a BS crusher of whatever, and so that's why I said something about the fact that Charlo asking Bud to prove himself to what? Prove to you what? You never done what he done. So I had to speak on it. I would like to see, this is just what I would like. That don't mean I'll get it. But I would like to see other channels say the same thing. Speak on it. Because don't let this narrative even catch no flight. Stomp it out before it gets there. Because as I was saying before, just as a recap, hey Tay, just as a recap, Jermell Charlo shouldn't be speaking on Benavidez. You're not even in line to fight him. I don't know what the intent is.
Which Charlo? Little one or big one?
Yeah, little one was talking about how Benavidez should go up to a cruiserweight. And
yeah, I'm done with Charlo's, man. Like I remember early on in the year, this man first talking all that stuff about Benavidez. And earlier then he said, "Oh, I won't go up to fight that big David Benavidez because I can fight Andre and people at my weight right here." And now he want to come out and say, "Oh, I'll never fight Andre." So he just a duck of mine. I can't stand Big Charlo.
Yeah, like Big Charlo. Well, when his brother was mad at him, he said, he put out there that he was ducking Canelo, letting family business out. But Jermell has no room to really pontificate on Benavidez moves or what he's doing because you're never going to fight him. So now all you're doing right now is talking about another fighter. This is where y'all get in trouble as fighters. Remember, Chris Colbert, the world is laughing at him now. He's considering him a coon. Because look how he so disrespectfully talked about somebody who never really did anything to him. And that was in Earl Spence, and that was in Deontay Wilder, and it was somebody else. Meanwhile, in between time, he was never in line to fight any of those guys.
Yeah.
So what is your point, Chris? You just make yourself look silly, and you get a lot of haters deservingly. And so that's how I feel about Jermell talking about Benavidez. Let Maul have those discussions.
Ma ain't gonna handle anything. He's scared.
that
He
may
is scared.
that may be true, but it's not for Jermell to say nothing because I mean you're never gonna fight him. So what's the point? And then don't you ever gather to spit in your mouth to talk about Bud need to prove himself to you. You have never done what Bud done. Never. As of today, you have never done what Bud done. Prove what? If anybody need to prove something, you need to prove something. So I mean, that's my recap. But I had asked you, Tay, I don't know if you can hear me. Do you have anything you want to add, even from last week or anything like that before we get up out of here?
Nah, I ain't got really nothing to add. It was great talking to you. It was great being on your show. I'm gonna keep supporting, you know.
Where are you from?
I'm from DC.
That's what I'm talking about. You should go over there to the Mac Mob. You go over there?
Wait, he from D? I heard he was using some DMV lingo. I was like, hold on, he from here, but I wasn't 100% sure.
He from DC.
Yeah, I'm in college right now.
This motherfucker is that be coming in here. I'm gonna block him and see how that works. I don't know. These people be jumping on here trying to flood my shit like the beehive. And Kid said, "Bless him, Miss T. I'll see you on E3 in 10 minutes or so." Yeah, I can't remember which one of them because they tag team. Is it E3 or BMAC? Normally BMAC be on, Mac Mob be on Mondays. And so I'm gonna check to see both.
Yeah, I heard.
Are you in B-More? And Kid in B-More. Hey, look at that. I'm from Virginia.
I'm actually no. Okay. So I was born in DC, but I lived in Virginia my whole entire life. So yeah.
What part
I'm
of
in DC right now? Centerville.
Oh, I never heard of that. Where that's close to?
It's like near Alexandria. It's Northern Virginia.
Okay. I'm from Richmond.
Wow, you in the capital?
Yeah. But I lived in DC. I used to live in Hinesville.
Yeah,
What is Maryland? But DC, you go to the main street. DC to the right, and Virginia would be to the left or something like that. Yeah. I was in that kind of situation.
Yeah, I got a lot of family in Maryland, so my whole family's in the DMV.
Look at that. Look how small this country is. But that's cool. Make sure then, Tay, you go over there and subscribe to the Mac Mob. And it's MACKMOBB. But that's not, they're all separate words. The Mac Mob. And E Thriller.
I subscribe to E Thriller. I like his stuff.
Yeah.
I already
make sure you check them out. They come on kind of after I do. After I go off. They good shows and they gonna show receipts. That's what I like about them. They show receipts. So they not talking out the side of their neck. And it be funny over there. And they don't cut people off. They let people get in and pop their collar. They don't cut people off and all that. They don't do all that craziness.
I remember on some shows they just name call way too much. Like, come on, man, he just disagreeing with you. You ain't gotta call him out his name. What you gonna do to his mother and his family? I don't like that.
Who are you talking about? The Mac Mob?
No, I'm talking about other channels. They feel
I
don't like that.
Me either. I don't like calling people out their name. You know, it can be frustrating when people don't see what you see. But hey, it's life. That's why you have your own brain. You're not supposed to think. We're not supposed to be all walking around like we're the Borg. Did that go over your head, Tay? You know who the Borg is?
Nah, no, I'm too young.
How old are you if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 18, so I'm just in college, so I just started.
Oh, I thank you, Tay, for coming through. I thank you for coming through. The Borg is Star Trek. You don't watch Star Trek?
My dad loves Star Trek. I'm into Star Wars. That's what I like.
Woo. See, I'm into Star Trek.
Yeah.
I've thought about doing this channel like one day out the week, just getting the Star Trek channel going, but through this channel and just see how, just be vibing with. I'm a geek that way too. But that'll be a lot of work because I do a show on Sunday. I don't always do the show on Sunday, but I do a show on health and wellness on Sunday.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna see it. I gotta finish up this test that I'm working on right now.
Well, hop to it, young man. Thank you for joining me, and don't be afraid to join in or anytime. You're more than welcome.
Okay,
And
bye.
Kid says, bye bye. And Kid said the DC Museum is beast mode. He says Star Wars better, Miss T, but I respect the Trekkies. I feel you. I like Star Wars too, but Trekkies is more real. I'd be thinking, and Kid, I think it's more real because the writers for Star Trek, you have to be legitimate scientists, and everything that they say is either plausibly. There's two words that people can use: plausible or possibly. Possibly is like 50-50. Plausible is damn near 100%, but in science you can never say 100%. So when you hear people say the word plausible, that's what they mean. It's like another way of saying 100%. And those writers are legit scientists. And the things that they're saying are plausible or absolutely facts. I mean, I would love to live in a Star Trek world. I mean, sometimes I'll be wondering, I'm like, I wish I could have been born during them times. But, God makes no mistakes on nobody. We are all winners when we make it here to planet Earth and breathe this air. We are all winners because we went through a lot to get here. Each and every one of us. But I just love Trekkie stuff because I just know how real it is. I don't know if the Borg, now when they make up stuff like the Borg, I don't know how true that can be, but there is such thing as Alpha Quadrant and Bravo and Charlie and Delta. There is a such thing as folded space and wormholes. There is a such thing as polarities and white dwarfs and suns and how they explode and nebulas and all that bullshit. Those are real. So Star Wars, I like them too. I don't have no buts. I just like Star Trek better. That's all. Matter of fact, I'll suggest to you guys, if you guys got Paramount, you can see it in Amazon Prime, but you have to pay. But I have a subscription to Paramount. I think it's like $9.99 a month. And I get to see Star Trek Discovery. This is the second female captain. Her name is Michael Burnham. And it starts off weird. You got to get used to it because it's so different. But I believe that she's supposed to be 10 years before Kirk time or 10 years after. Like I think it's 10 years before. 10 years before Kirk time, and all this time jumping that they do, I kind of get mixed up. But her name is Captain Burnham. She's actually Spock's sister. She grew up with Spock. But she's a black woman, and Spock's dad adopted her and raised her, from when she was a kid, when she lost her parents. And so it's awesome as hell. It's awesome. I be sitting there thinking like I could write for Star Trek when I be watching this stuff. Oh man, I love the show. My second favorite, well, of all times, nothing beats Kirk. I like the new Star Treks that they come out with Chris Pine, Zoe Saldana, and all them. But I always loved the Kirk team and all that. But of course, they're seniors now, so they can't do all that stuff. But the second Star Trek team that I would like is Voyager with Captain Catherine Janeway. As y'all see a theme here, I love to see the females be captain, and they have their own personality. I love Picard. I even like the Cisco a little bit, but it was kind of boring because he ain't really go nowhere. He was guarding deep space, not that wormhole and all that stuff. But Captain Janeway, they got thrown into the Delta Quadrant, and it was going to take them 70 light years to make it back to Earth. I mean, that's a long time, and the only way they could get back is to be flung back, and just all the stuff that they went through. Love Star Trek. Oh my God. And then y'all gotta know, Star Trek is the Navy. So of course I'm gonna like it. But on that note, remember, when y'all know better, you do better. This is the only reason why I say things like getting back to boxing. Just, I'm debunking narratives before they can take flight, or BS or whatever, because we find ourselves in a tricky situation, having controversy between each other in areas that we shouldn't have controversy. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And give me feedback on the replay if you're watching. You guys come in. I see y'all in here right after I get off. Hit the like button. I don't know why y'all don't do that all the time, but just look a sister up. I'm dropping good content, I believe. But if you think I'm not, then you can say so in your comments. He said, I'll say still do a Star Trek channel. You say it? Okay. I'm gonna try it out. I don't know how to do it. I ain't gonna say I don't know how to do it, but I don't know. I don't know. I do. And I welcome all the Star Trek nerds and geeks. Matter of fact, this year for Halloween, I'm dressing up as a Starfleet somebody. I'm going, look, I'm paying money to do it. Y'all, we gonna dress up for real, for real. Not that we into the demonic side of Halloween or anything, because I know a lot of people don't celebrate that shit. But I'm coming in. I'm gonna try to do my best 7 of 9 or something. Yeah. I'm thinking about doing an anime channel. Oh wow, that would be good, Aunt Kit. I'm gonna tell you, my daughter loves anime. And my neighbor, grown ass man, he loves anime. Like some people, it clicks with them. I can't get into it. It doesn't do nothing for me. But I don't knock it. I know it's a real thing, because those people who's into it, they love that shit. I can't tell you how much money anime got out of me, because I be, for Christmas, buy my daughter and stuff anime. Oh, you into it, Tay? There you go, Aunt Kid. That's 2 of y'all. You get it popping. I'm telling you, your channel will grow faster than mine. Do I know what anime she watch? Hold on, I'll ask her right quick. She come in here and tell you. She be killing me. I be like, who is you talking about? I never even knew about this word. I don't even know how she got into it, to be honest. Let me tell her come here, because I don't want to mess it up. I'm gonna tell her come in here, and then she could just tell you. She might be on that damn game. When y'all hear her screaming and shit, that's her playing them games. My daughter wait till she grown to be into gaming. My little lady is grown. You said my PFP is an anime character. Oh, this one right here? She don't do Fortnite. I'll ask her that too. There's a couple of games that she play. Yes. Of course not, she don't play no Call of Duty. Bree, they can hear you. But they was asking me about what anime do you like? Speak up though. Speak up.
I'm trying to figure out what anime I watch. Oh, Jujutsu Kaisen.
Lean over.
Jujutsu Kaisen, My Hero Academia, Naruto. Anything else I have watched? I don't know. I don't remember anything else. Oh. Inuyasha.
You hear all this, Aunt Kit? It was because he thinking about starting an anime channel. Tay said, yep. And Kid said, I have to speak with E3 on how to do the video edits and stuff like he does his series. And then he said, Maha.
Is he?
MHA. Maha.
Oh, My Hero Academia.
Yeah. And watch Eva.
No, I don't watch that.
She don't watch that. Or Sayo.
Oh, Sword Art Online. No, that one's really bad.
You don't know that one?
I know it.
She watched all of what I watch.
Yeah.
He gave you the power up. Now, what video games do you be playing? Because I be hearing you. Among Us.
Goose Goose Duck.
Goose Goose Duck.
Dead by Daylight.
Death by Daylight?
Dead by Daylight.
Dead by Daylight.
Phasmophobia.
Phasmophobia.
Devour.
Rec
Rec Room.
Room.
God of War.
God of War.
Spider-Man. Miles Morales.
Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Batman.
She don't play football and Madden and 2K and all that. She don't do none of that. Tay said my favorite is Naruto.
That's an anime. You bought me one of those.
Yeah, I be buying her the shirts. I was just telling them I put money into them like when you was little. I put Dora through motherfucking college.
I did Fairy Tail.
Oh, she do Fairy Tales as well. He said I'm playing Arkham City.
Arkham City. It's part of the Batman series.
Is it?
Playing Arkham Asylum.
She playing Arkham Asylum. What is the game that you really be screaming on?
Phasmophobia, Goose Goose Duck, and Among Us.
Phasmophobia and Goose Goose Duck and Among Us. Them the ones she be screaming. Y'all hear her?
Dead by Daylight.
Death by Daylight too. These really challenges be blowing me.
Yeah, they give like her challenge.
Yeah. But y'all hear her scream sometimes up in here. She be going. Like one time, I didn't know she was in the house and I was in the shower and all I heard was screaming, boy, I almost lost it. Cause you just hear your baby screaming and I was like, what the fuck? I'm coming out the shower about to slip and then I hear her laugh. I was like, this little hooker right here, man. Damn. You almost had me bust my ass because I'm like, what's going on?
I watched Black Clover. I don't like One Piece. Not good.
He said, ask if she watched One Piece or Black Clover.
I watched Black Clover, not One Piece. I don't like it.
Okay. Y'all heard that? She watched Black Clover, not One Piece. She don't like One Piece?
Yeah.
What is that?
DJ watches it. It's an anime about a pirate and he can just like elongate his arms and it's not cool because it's like it's just boring. I can't get past the first episode. 10 minutes in, I'm falling asleep.
Tay said, I yell a lot too. Do y'all got names? I mean, do you be looking for extra players? Oh, y'all can share your names or whatever. I don't like Op either.
One Piece either.
Oh, One Piece either. It's overrated. Naruto is better. Naruto is better. Okay. All right. Well, thanks, Bree. Yeah, she be into that. Like, it'd be crazy to me because, like I said, I bought all these video games when she was little, and it was the typical Mario, go-kart, and when all her girls come over and they be just, girls, a bunch of little girls in the house be like screaming. You be like, oh my God. I'm all the way upstairs. I'm like, what is these girls doing? And you go down and they playing the singing games and the cooking mamas and, those like, she has never been into Call of Duty and all that killing and all that crap. But I think some of these games seem like you got to kill somebody, but it's like, I forgot the name of the game. She probably mentioned it. It's a game where they got to work on an engine and people, they got to hurry up and do it for somebody to come and kill. She be screaming on that one too. I just crack up that, she gets into that and she put her name in for a PlayStation 5, like November sometime. And by the first week in December, she found out she got the lottery. I'm like, that girl be lucky, man. She's more lucky than me. I ain't hating, but when she tries to do things, she always gets it done or gets to do it. I'm not like that. I'll ask and forget about it because I know it'll be 5 years later before my prayers get answered. I'll be like, she got a different fate than I do. But yeah, yeah. So if I would say Tay and Kid, I think you said you wanted to put an anime page. You should do it. There's so many people who like that. So many people. I will support you. I'm gonna, as I tell y'all all the time, whether you agree with people or not, go show your black love and just sub to any and everybody's channel. Tay said, he said, wow, good for her. And then he said, I thought about buying one, but I don't want to spend that bread. Tuition is a lot. Yeah, she got a little hook. Military benefits is good. You say I want to write a book. Well, don't hesitate, Tay. You go right ahead and you do that. Your best times is in your youth. Get everything done while you're young. Don't wait and don't put off because maybe you'll meet a girl right now and y'all having too much fun. Don't fall into that trap, or don't just do everything right the first time. My motto when I was raising my kids was work first, play second. Because then, they have to do things like I did. Like I, spent a lot of time in their teenage years going back to school when I could have been with them. And, that took away from mommy time, mommy and child time. And so I tell them, get it right the first time. Just get it out the way. And, I'm glad that I went back to school and got my degrees, but, I took away from being a mother and I should have done it. I didn't even have my kids until later in life. So I should have been done with school way before. You said, that's my goal. Don't give up on your goal, bro. He said, I know, shit crazy. You can do it. I believe in you. In college, it's a new experience. Got to stay focused. Indeed. It was just yesterday she was in high school. And she's coming close to the end. I mean, that time passed by quick. I don't have no little children. I have grown ass children, son and daughter. And so, y'all just follow your dreams, Tay. Don't depart from them. And thanks for coming into the show and being a constant here. I really do appreciate it and everything. And I'm glad that you can see through the bull too in these boxing streets. Cause you got your eyes open. That's good. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the show. And thank you guys for coming. And please like, share, and subscribe. If you watch me in replay, leave a comment. Let me know how you think I'm doing. Even if you agree with me or disagree, it's yours to do so with. But that's the show for today. And remember, when you know better, you'll do better, right? So all I can say is peace. Wait a minute, first, let me make sure anybody said nothing yet. Peace.